Welcome to J is for Justice podcast. If live breaking news and following true crime is your thing, then please consider subscribing to my channel. And if you like what you see in my videos, please consider giving them a thumbs up. Hey guys, welcome to J is for Justice Saturday Night Live. We are going to be closing out the Casey Anthony case tonight with closing arguments. Are you excited yet? What's up, Roberters?
Roberta.
I see Muffin Top, Ange, Rose, Angie B. Who else we got here? It's a slow night tonight at J is for Justice. Muffin Top. Where is Rose going that she has to be safe? Be safe, Rose. Monkey Biz. Shelby. Mike Sanner. Mike, how you doing? And Shelby. What's up, guys? All right, we're going to be closing out this case tonight, but you're not going to want to move. What we got going on? Potato is going to be joining us in just a few minutes, but let me introduce the rest of our panel, the power panel. We have got Maligator. Hello, Maligator.
Hello.
Hello, sweetheart. How are you tonight?
That's great.
My dog took off. I had doggy cam up there and it went bye-bye.
She's like, I don't want to watch this case.
Right. She's like, I don't want I'm done with Casey Anthony. Bella's like, I'm out. And Heather J is with us.
Hey.
Hey, girl. So how is your guys' Saturday?
Boring.
That's boring.
Come on, it's summertime. I know, like, you did something. Come on.
No, I showered.
Well, there you go. That's a bonus. Maligator took a shower.
And I grocery shopped.
You know, I just love you, Maligator. I just love your bluntness. And, I mean, you just crack me up. Heather J, I know you did something today. What'd you do?
Nothing.
Something with the dogs. Come on.
Bothered my chickens.
See? I told you did something.
I got one that's broody and she won't get off the nest. I'm like, get out.
So how many cocks do you have?
I only have one.
Okay. So you're a good girl. You have one cock. And then how many hens?
6.
6 hens. So how many babies are you taking care of?
None. I'm not letting them hatch.
Oh, you're not? You're eating them?
I'm collecting the eggs.
Okay, so are these eating eggs?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so you eat the eggs.
Yeah.
Are they brown in color?
Uh-oh. They hear puppies.
Oh, that was Potatoes. She moved inside.
Over mine.
Poor thing.
They heard chickens.
They heard do the chickens have large talons? Hey, Potato, can you hear us?
Potato, can you hear us now?
Grandma just called and said you're supposed to go home.
Nope.
Yeah, I can hear.
Wait
Oh,
till
good.
she hears the sound bites. Can you hear us,
Hello.
honey?
Hello.
Oh,
I
hi,
can.
sweet
Can you
pea.
hear me?
Yeah?
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome,
Hey, Potato.
Potato, the incognito
Okay,
Potato.
But I can't hear Jay now.
What you mean you can't hear me?
Yep, me either.
Oh, you can't?
Potato, are you in your office?
No, I went back in my house.
Yeah, you know what? You need to buy like one of them boosters because your
why can't
Wi-Fi's
they
have
quite
one?
bad.
Can you hear me now?
I was thinking it was just bad because
Yeah.
you were
They
far
can't-
from your router.
We're just like,
No, it said it had strong connection as well, so I don't know what's wrong with it.
so I guess
today.
I got to put
Yeah.
doggy cam back on.
It's not. It wasn't even dropping out. It was still saying it was strong. It just
Can you hear me now?
Now we can.
Oh, I had
Yep.
to put doggy cam back up.
Yeah.
Could you hear us talking?
Yeah, I was talking and you guys were talking and I was like, this is hilarious.
Oops.
Mike Sanders says he's doing great tonight, but he is still sober. So apparently that is a problem.
Dang it.
Get on
Better
it,
fix
Mike.
that.
Get on it, Michael. All right, so yeah, I was just asking how your guys' Saturday was. I was busy today. I got a lot done. I feel pretty good. I was painting and I got like stuff done in here, and so I feel pretty accomplished tonight. So I'm feeling pretty good.
You buzzed? I was at work all day, so. Woo.
You what? Oh, you worked.
I was at work all day. Yeah.
Boo.
Exactly.
These girls said they had a boring Saturday. At least you weren't at work, girls.
True.
Mm-hmm.
No, I slept thinking I had to work.
I'm so glad you joined us tonight, Maligator. I can't even tell you.
Nope.
You know, I was painting today, and when I paint, like I think, you know, I put on music and my mind just goes, and I come up with ideas for shit for the podcast, and I'll like jot them down. But like today I was thinking, and I'm like, God, I'm so excited for tonight. Like, I'm so glad that we're doing this. Because I love like getting together with you guys. It's like getting together, but you know, virtually, but you know what I mean? Like, I really look forward to our lives, and especially our Sunday night lives. So I'm excited for tomorrow.
I'm wicked excited for tomorrow.
I know. I had a hard time like getting my mind together to get back on Casey tonight because we've been diving into this Manson thing so heavily.
Yeah, Jay, you're making me miss the first one.
Grandma just called and said you're supposed to go home.
I'm sorry, Maligator. But maybe you can call in tomorrow. Not trying to be a bad influence or anything.
I can't call in from a hospital, but
I think you're
I'm sick.
You're a little sick today.
Maybe Jake can write you a note.
I can write you a sick note. Yeah, Dr. J. So with that being said, like I was thinking today about all this Manson stuff and all the connections, like the music, the musicians, the actors, the producers, all these celebrities and like famous people that were like coming across randomly that we didn't even know were really, you know, touched by this in some fashion, right? So I was thinking today, and I was like playing, like I love when my Alexa like mixes my station because it plays all my favorites. So like I was listening to all these because I have like all different genres on there. So I'm going to start this. We're going to have an icebreaker. We're going to do something a little different before we get started on Casey. So a little icebreaker. So what genre of music do you relate to the most? Like, do you ever feel like there is a genre of music where you feel like, fuck, I should have probably lived at this time, or something that just relates to you more for whatever reason? I'm just curious. Like, we can just go around real quick.
The 80s for me.
Why? Just because it was your
I
era?
grew up in that era, and I just love all the music.
Mm-hmm. You listen to it because you good memories, huh?
Yeah.
Like, there's songs from the 80s. I remember, like, sitting in my room. Like, I'll hear a song, and I'll be like, God, I picture myself in front of my little cassette player. You know? Like, I remember where I listened to that. It's bizarre, but it's pretty cool.
Like the 8 tracks.
Yeah, my brother had a bunch of 8 tracks.
Whoa. Sorry.
Whoa. Heather J, what about you? Do you relate with a certain genre of music? I don't know if everybody does necessarily.
Time-wise, probably the 90s.
The 90s? Like what kind of 90s? Like,
well, that's what
grunge, pop,
all of that.
Yeah, like everything that goes along with the 90s, just you like those memories.
Yeah,
that makes
all
sense.
that emo stuff that I listened to in high school. And
like what?
Oh, like Newfound Glory, Saves the Day, like that real Dashboard Confessional.
See, I don't even know that first band you said. I don't even know who that is. I've never heard of them before. And I know a lot of music. That's pretty cool. So you're a little bit younger than me. So that makes sense than me and Maligator, because you're like resonating with the 90s where you were, you know, those fun years of your life. That's pretty interesting.
I like reggae too, though.
Well, maybe you have a past life as a Jamaican Rasta or something. Maybe that's why you're friends with me, because like
my future.
These dreads bring you back to like a past life. That's why we bonded.
Maybe.
What about the potato? You're muted.
Potato.
You're muted, baby.
Don't think I'm muted. I think that my connection is so bad.
Oh no, we hear you fine now. You're good.
it was cutting out when I was listening to you guys, so I think I'm just gonna
So
have
did you even hear the
issues all
question?
night. Yeah, I heard the
Okay.
question.
Okay.
It was just cutting out.
Well, it's not now, so go ahead.
Like rock bands and stuff. So Bon Jovi, anything that's live music, guitars and stuff is what does it for me.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
Me
So from
too.
any kind of age. I like everything.
I do too, except country.
I
I'll
like a bit
listen
of country as well.
I
I'll
love
listen to anything. I love country too.
I mean, old country I can deal with, like Willie Nelson, Johnny Cash, but the newer stuff I can't. Maligator, you said 80s. Heather said 90s. And Incognito Potato said anything with guitars, baby. She's all about the British invasion. No, that's me, man. I love the British invasion. I love the Beatles. I love the Who. I think I should have been alive from in my prime, like teenage days, from like the mid to late 60s to the early 70s. I think that would have been like my junior high and high school years or something like that, because I love the Doors. I love like those bands when they kind of started out as like straight lace, like the Beatles were in their suits, and then when they started to get into the psychedelics, that's the shit I love, and I love all that history of it. So it's kind of brought that to my forefront, I think, because of Manson and the Beach Boys, and because you hear about the Beach Boys connection, that they even produced a song that Manson wrote, and I'm just like, what?
I was so pissed.
It's so wild, you guys. You guys have done a phenomenal job in Slack. We have so much information that you guys are going to be mind blown. And I think that going back on these cases, like for Casey, for example, I don't know if it's just life experiences or watching other cases or a combination of all of those things, but we're looking at it in such a different way. And like, I'm looking at this Manson thing in a whole different, I never dug into Manson, but I always just thought he was just batshit crazy. The guy was just insane. I mean, and not to say that he wasn't, but there's always a reason. There's not an excuse, but there's always a reason. And we've uncovered a lot of reasons. And
I was telling Steve, like, I never, like, just when I thought of him, it was always like, he was a whack job and killed all these people and this pregnant woman. And then once I researched his childhood and stuff, like,
and then you find out he never murdered anyone. He
He
never
didn't kill
physically
anyone.
killed anybody, but he spent his life in prison.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the shit that I uncovered today, that his family lives on, I had no idea.
Yeah.
No
I can't wait
idea.
to talk about this tomorrow. I can't wait.
So, we're saying right here, we're prefacing, if one of us disappears, you might want to look into that.
Oh my God.
Well, shit, man, that is scary to know that those people are still carrying a torch for him and his beliefs. And I think they're crazy if they let any of those women out on parole, because I think they are so manipulative. And I think they will say whatever it takes to get out of prison. And I think they still are in love with him and they still adore him. I don't think their mindset changed. And it's scary. It's really scary.
Yeah, me neither.
It's scary, the control that he didn't even really try to have, but did.
Yeah.
Like,
and he saw it worked. He's like, well, hell, I'm going to go with it. I mean, who wouldn't? I mean,
and
in a position like he was.
Being in like programs and stuff.
Yeah,
Crazy.
I mean, the guy had a hell life. And a lot of people do, and they don't do what he did, but we'll walk through it, but it kind of fell in his lap, so to speak, a little bit, It's very, very interesting, and it's so much more than just this crazed lunatic. It really is. So
He actually had very high IQ. He was very smart.
He's very clever.
He's no dummy.
And he manipulates people by mirroring them, which is really clever. Like, figure that out.
Right. I mean, he could outsmart all of us, for real.
Yeah.
And it wasn't hard for him to do, but a lot of that, I think, had to do with a lot of his experiences and his childhood.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh my gosh. Good grandma says, remember Valley Girl talk? Like, gag me with a spoon. Of course. Do you remember that song by, who is it, Frank Zappa? I think it's Frank Zappa or something, or one of the Zappas, that Valley Girl song, where they're like, okay, fine, for sure. She's a Valley Girl and there is no cure. Come on, you've heard. Am I the only one?
I've not heard of that. We're all like,
Dweezil Zappa. Look it up.
You buzzed?
We stand corrected. I think Jane Kelly Quinn is right. I believe Manson killed at least one person, Shorty Shea. One of the women died about 2 years ago, Sadie. So Sexy Sadie died?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know she died.
Sadie was the cray one, right?
Yeah.
Oh, well, there's cray ones that you probably never even heard of, girl.
But I think she was like the ringleader of the girls.
Mm-hmm. Well, there was ringleaders that still believed in him after he went to prison. Mm-hmm. There was a man who actually he was going to try to get him out of prison. He was going to escape him out of prison. And he actually did jail time himself and then went on to be an evangelistic Christian who was with Focus on the Family. We've got lots of stories. Lots of people that I was like, who is this guy? Never heard of him. But
and he grew up with a lot of religion too.
Well, this is a guy who supposedly found Christ in jail after he went to jail for, wanting to get Charlie out. And that's what he went on to do. He did speaker things and traveled the country. And yeah, it's crazy. Dude, it is no joke when people say, like, evil can be sitting next to you, because it literally can. Yeah. And it's funny because I'm rambling tonight, but I've wanted to talk to you guys all day. So like I'm getting it out right now. But like I had this conversation with my daughter earlier and she's like, we were talking about Justin Bieber. A song came on. I sent her a little clip of it because she used to jam it in her bedroom. And I was like, is he really paralyzed? Because I had been on YouTube and I just basically saw like a clip that and his face was, and I didn't watch it. I don't really care. I mean, not that I don't care, but I just, whatever. We were having the conversation, so I was like, hey, is he really, paralyzed? And she's like, well, didn't you see it? And I said, well, I saw a video, but I didn't like click on it. And she's like, well, he put it out himself. Why would you think he's lying? And I said, well, I don't know. Maybe it's a publicity stunt or something.
Yeah, he's actually suing Pfizer because he said it was after he got his booster.
See, and I knew it was to do with the COVID shot. So I said, is he doing this? Is this some kind of like publicity thing about the shot, the vaccine, or what? And she's like, why do you not trust anyone? She goes, it's so weird to think that way. And I'm thinking, babe, give yourself 30 more years in this world and you'll be right with me, And
it could be lifelong for him. He may not get it back and it causes hearing loss.
I didn't know if it was real or I didn't know what it was. And she's like, why would you automatically think that, Mom? And I'm like,
and did you see Brad Pitt too? Mm-mm. He's lost where he can't see faces.
What? See, I feel like these people are just getting to be like has-beens and they like say things to like get themselves in the news. I don't trust it. And yeah, I guess I am very cynical.
I mean, like Bruce Willis too had to all of a sudden quit because he lost all cognitive skills.
That was from all his stunts, they said.
See, I don't know. I told my daughter she needs to do me a weekly update on pop culture. And I got I got the face palm emoji. Because I said, you're going to have to school your mom on pop culture every week because I'm old. And she's like, oh. So Justin Bieber, half of his face is like, he can't control it.
He lost hearing in the one side and then his face. It's kind of like Bell's palsy, but not. Mm-hmm. They say that they could treat it, but it's not guaranteed. I'm sure he's getting the best medical treatment he possibly can, but
I'm sure.
He came out and said, I mean, he can't sue Pfizer regardless. I mean, that's why they make you sign the waiver before you get it to cover themselves. But We don't really know what caused it. It's
Well,
actually the herpes like virus that's like chickenpox, shingles. It's part of that.
I mean, I'm not trying to say anybody's lying about shit, but like, I think there has been some weird side effects from the COVID vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's another YouTuber who was having a lot of issues after she had COVID. And I think she got it like twice. But she's had like really weird symptoms too that just came out of the blue. So, hey, Olive Juice. Hey, Great Grandma and Night Stalker.
I know someone who couldn't walk anymore because of having the vaccine.
You're kidding me. Oh, for the vaccine.
No, I'm serious. Mm-hmm.
Well, some people are saying they get these weird, long-lasting effects from just having the virus.
And having COVID, long COVID.
That's what I'm saying. It's like it's a double-edged sword. It's either the vaccine or COVID. It's like pick your poison.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's everybody's individual choice, you know?
And people who have the vaccine could also catch COVID at the same time. So then their symptoms are because of COVID and not because of the vaccine. So you never really know.
Yeah.
It's all a big toss-up, you know? And our lives are in the hands of our government. Our governments. And Potato, your government is nothing to write home about right now. I know we don't talk politics, but shit, when half of your damn government walks out, that's kind of a problem.
No, it's a bit insane. Mm-hmm. Yep. And then when you have no choice over who's going to take over as well, it's a bit
unnerving.
Scary.
It's a little unnerving, especially at the state of things. You know, you got Ukraine and COVID and God knows what else.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. It's a mess.
Hey, April. I think it was after a booster shot, Ange. Okay, so I have a bonus video for you guys before we start the closing. This is just a heated moment in the trial that I wanted to share. It's there's a bug expert on the stand, and the prosecution and Baez have a little run in with each other. So I'm going to play this and then we'll get right into the closing arguments.
Based on your experience, is the stains from decompositional fluid easily distinguishable?
Yes, they are.
Okay, how so?
What? Anyone with experience around decomposing bodies of this nature will generally be able to look at it, smell it, and determine if it's from a decomposing body or not. There are also relatively simple presumptive tests, chemical tests that can be done.
Have we finished eliciting the opinion from the witness? Because it seemed like we stopped. Obviously, he's not qualified to talk about phenolphthalein tests. We've already heard from an experienced serologist about that. So clearly he's not qualified to testify about that, and that's not in his deposition. But is there any other opinion counsel's going to elicit? Because, I'm sorry, I'll wait. Counsel's busy texting. So. Is there another opinion?
Folks, I don't know how many times, and I'm not going to say this ever again. I do not want to hear editorial comments. All I'm concerned with at this time.
She looks tired.
The proffer and whether or not was in his report versus his deposition is a violation of this court's order. I do not care if Mr. Baez is standing on his head, standing on one leg. So, folks, please, let's just stick with the facts and be professional.
When a body decomposes, if a body were to decompose in a car, what type of fluid?
Oh my God, why does that keep popping
What would
up?
the?
Stop using private
see
chat.
If I can pose this question correctly. What would you expect to see a day or two from the decompositional fluid?
Oops.
It's okay.
The decompositional fluid that leaches from the body has a blackish staining quality to it. In a car trunk, it will leach into the carpet, and given enough time, it will soak through the carpet liner into the pad underneath. In a day or two, in hot temperatures, when you have rapid bloating, lots of bacterial action, in this case, insect activity, those body fluids leach rather rapidly because of the rupturing of the skin surface of the body.
Does he not look like a bug
So
expert?
what is the surprise, Mr. Ashton?
Wait, does he not look like a bug expert though? Like,
He does.
how does one be? I mean, it's just funny, like bug expert.
The skin surface of the body.
So what is the surprise, Mr. Ashton?
The surprise is that this witness is now claiming the ability to identify a stain as to whether it is or is not human decomposition. That is a fairly major change in his testimony. There is nothing
Who's the
in
dude with
his
the neck
report or in
brace?
this deposition that would have suggested to me that he is going to claim the ability to identify the
Did you
stain. In
see him
fact,
turn his
he
neck?
indicates as to adipocera that,
Yeah, he
he
looks
doesn't claim
fine
to
to
have
me.
He totally rubbernecked to see who walked in.
Hopefully it's
Oh
not a
my
workman's
God.
comp claim.
Right? Dude, if you were on workers' comp, you got busted.
identified it. He says, well, if we assume it is, so there's nothing in here that would suggest to me that this witness would claim now to be able to identify whether a particular stain in a particular trunk is or is not human decomposition, or to describe to this jury that it has to be a particular color. There's nothing in this report on that, and I would comment, Judge, it's completely outside his area of expertise.
Were you asked whether you're going to render an opinion as to the stain in this car for this specific trunk?
No.
And is it your understanding, as it was laid out in your deposition, that what you would be speaking of would be the decompositional fluids and the stains that you would expect to see in the trunk of a car, if there was a dead body in there?
Yes, I was under the assumption that I was going to be speaking in generalities about what I would expect and would not expect if there is a body in a trunk or not.
That is our position, Judge. We are not asking this witness to identify the Pontiac Sunfire stain and say that that is or is not decompositional fluid. It never was our intention. All that he testified in his deposition.
I don't know, but I get like more of a kick out of the gallery people than anything else.
Like
Look
Mr.
at the-
Monopoly Man yesterday.
Oh my God, yeah, that's what Mike Sander just said. Mr. Monopoly Man in a new disguise.
That was so weird.
April Dawn, Ghostbusters. There's your 80s. Oh yeah, that was funny, wasn't it?
As it relates to what could happen as a result of stains, that in generalities is all we're talking about.
You know, this would be more interesting if Jose Baez was a cat.
I know, right? Oh my God. I freaking love that. I love it. Okay, so let's get back. Oh my gosh, I got like close up on doggy cam there. I gotta share my screen again. Are you guys with me? Hello?
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm just having issues.
Oh no, potato.
Not.
I don't like it when you have issues. I feel
Me neither.
bad.
Blame Boris.
Unique Trauma Obsessed said maybe neck brace guy came to court on the wrong day. LOL, he looks like he's wearing the brace for an insurance case. Dang it. All right, so this is going to start out, we're going to start out with the defense closing. Oh, April Dawn didn't see the cat video yet. She's like, was a cat? What? I have another fun video too for our ending. All right, so here we go. I kind of fast forwarded a little bit just to get the, like he's, Jose's addressing the jury at this point to, he's just kind of rebutting what the prosecution said. So this is where we pick up.
They started with, well, let me just start with Mr. Ashton's remarks to you today because of the most recent.
Oh, that's way too fast.
Mr. Ashton started out showing you a video of little Kaylee. Started talking to you about parenting. Started talking to you about what a mother should and should not do. He went on for a great length of time talking about this beautiful child. Not on his evidence, not on the evidence that was presented before you. It was to set up the emotion for what was to come. And that is exactly how this case was presented. They didn't come right out the gate and show you the evidence. They gave you 2 weeks of testimony that was completely irrelevant and served only one purpose.
So true, isn't it? Do you feel like we watched a bunch of testimony that was irrelevant?
100%.
I mean, if I was a juror, we're 11 minutes into the closing arguments from the defense, and I'm already like, dude, I'm picking up what you're laying down.
But I still think she should have been charged with something.
But they didn't have a choice.
No, I know.
If they had a choice, I'm sure she would have.
That was the prosecutor's fault for not offering more choices.
They thought they had it in the bag.
Too cocky.
And then came Jose Baez. And you know what? I've been reading that book. He wrote, guess how much, here's a little quiz. Guess how much he charged Casey for her defense?
None. He did it pro bono.
He charged
nothing.
$5,000. $5,000.
Wow.
I thought he said he was doing it pro bono.
Well, he basically did. Do you know how much criminal defense attorneys cost?
Oh, for her trial, as long as it was.
Way more than
$5,000. It's like, that's nothing.
No, that's what it is now for a retainer.
Exactly. Right. Exactly. At least. $5,000. I was like, wow. And they agreed to let her make payments. He let her make payments. But he did say that she paid it, and he got paid his $5,000. That book is great. That's a great book.
It's awesome. It provides so much more detail.
It gives you so much insight to all the questions you had about things. I agree.
And what the prosecution missed that they picked up.
And how he just played off all their mistakes.
Yeah.
Jack Hideous.
They made it easy for him.
Maybe.
And that was to paint Casey Anthony.
Hey, sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
He's free.
Party girl, as a girl who lies and has absolutely nothing to do with how Kaylee died. And you would dishonor the law and even Kaylee's memory if you were to base your decision on anything but the evidence.
And what evidence?
To use emotion to get you angry is improper. And here is the proof. And Judge Perry will read that to you. It is rule number 3, but I ask that you make this rule number 1.
And she beats us Hummers.
The state came out and paraded all of these people. But what was unique is throughout that process, everyone kept coming back with the same thing. Casey was a good mother. Kaylee loved Casey. And what was funny is I wanted you all to see something, and you may have wondered why I asked certain questions. I asked many of the questions as to how did Kaylee react to Casey, because I thought it was important that you understand that, of course, a child cannot fake this. A child cannot fake love. A child knows when it loves someone, it behaves a certain way.
You know what I would say here? All children love their parents. Even abused children love their parents.
I was just going to say the same thing.
So that point, I mean, you got to try it, but I think a lot of people are like, well, think like we did.
Me looking at that judge right now, all laid back in his chair, so comfy.
Oh, I know. Look at his face. Look where I paused it.
He's literally like laid back. I liked his take on this case too. I wish we would have clipped that. And put it there.
Well, we're not gonna have time. This is long. I'm gonna have to trim like the spots that we watch because there's 9 parts.
Holy crap!
I know it's ridiculous. It's like 3 hours. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I won't be on that one.
Questions on, and I asked them from both angles. How did Casey treat Kaylee, and vice versa? And what this did was, it wasn't to appeal to your emotion. It was specifically directed at the child abuse charges. We were here for a couple of months, at least 6 weeks, as Mr. Ashton pointed out. But you didn't hear one single instance having anything to do with child abuse. Not one. And this prosecution was geared in such a manner that it was
Look at
deliberate.
Wait,
was
look at
methodical.
both prosecutors. Look at how they have their arms folded.
They're PO'd.
They know they blew it. They blew it.
But like he says that they didn't prove child abuse, which they didn't. But he also in his opening statements said about SA, but then never brought it up again in trial.
No, but he didn't have to.
He also wasn't allowed to because there was no evidence of it. So he wasn't allowed to bring it up in his closing.
But he could bring it up in the opening?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing that,
Yeah,
I don't
and then
think
the judge
that was
didn't allow it.
Yeah. And I don't think that was fair because they didn't prove child abuse, but they didn't prove SA either.
But wasn't she convicted of like child endangerment or something?
No.
It was just
her lying to the cops.
Oh, the lying. Yeah. That's right. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, because of course the cops are more concerned with that because that, pisses them off.
How is there not a charge of not reporting your child missing either? Like
seriously.
There should have been a million charges and hoped one stuck.
Because they thought they could get her on capital punishment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they shot too high.
Yep, they were a little big. Look at that. I know the body language for real.
They should have put more eggs in their basket.
Mm-hmm.
It was thorough and it was detailed. You saw during those 30 days every movement of where Casey went and every single thing she did. And if there was one instance of child abuse, you would have heard it. You would have seen it. You would have been able to, it would have become clear. So if you look at these child abuse charges, ask yourself, when did someone get on this stand and tell me or demonstrate in any way that Kaylee was abused? Child abuse cases are sad, and they're one of the most horrible crimes imaginable. But one thing's for certain, if there's an abused child, people know it. People see bruises. People see different things about that child. They will see there will be broken bones at times. There will be different instances. But there was nothing other than the fact that this child was loved and well taken care of. And from one moment to the next, something happened. Something changed. Something changed that will forever change the life of Casey Anthony. And something forever changed that ended the life of Kaylee Anthony. It was sudden and immediate. Not deliberate, not repeated, not premeditated, but something from one moment to the next. You have to rely on the evidence. What came forward? What was put before you? I agree with one statement that Mr. Ashton said, is you can't speculate. Don't speculate. Don't guess. It has
He's
to be
using his
proven
own
to you
words
beyond and to the exclusion of every reasonable doubt. If you don't know what happened, it wasn't proven. We don't want you to tell us what you think happened. We want you to tell us what was proven happened. And that's the difference here. Because you know what? We can go on and speculate all day long as to the different theories that were posed before you, as to the different possibilities. But the truth of the matter is it must be what was proven. There are no mysteries to solve here. There should be no mystery before you right now. If you have questions, then it was not proven. And that's as simple as it goes. It's as simple as it gets, because that is exactly what is done. Now, you have seen this checkbook prosecution where they spared no expense, utilized the finest crime labs in the country, the FBI laboratory, but yet with all of the resources, and used not only established areas of forensic science, but created new ones. Ones that were never testified before in front of a jury. You are the first jury to ever hear some of the evidence in this case, this type of evidence, air evidence, the very first. You're the first ones in the state of Florida to ever hear hair banding evidence. You're the first ones in the state of Florida to ever hear a trainer testify about his dog. You're the first one to ever hear any of these types of evidence. And that's what I told you from the very beginning, that this prosecution would raise to the level of desperation to make up for their lack of evidence. Now, back to what I was saying with their initial setup, the way the case was presented, the first couple of weeks. You see, the strategy behind that is if you hate her, if you think she's a lying, no-good slut, then you'll start to look at this evidence in a different light.
Okay.
I can't believe he said that.
Can we talk about that? That he just called his client a slut?
That's awesome.
Can I rewind that?
Like 100 times.
Okay, let's listen again.
Their initial setup, the way the case was presented, the first couple of weeks. You see, the strategy behind that is if you hate her, if you think she's a lying, no-good slut, then you'll start to look at this evidence in a different light. You'll start to, well, wait a minute. Maybe I'm seeing something that's not there. And start to actually discriminate against her rather than give her the standard that is afforded to each and every citizen in our country. And that is that the state, that the government come in here and prove their case beyond and to the exclusion of every reasonable doubt. But you can get away with that if we can get a jury to hate her. We can get away with that if we paint her in a certain light that has nothing to do with the evidence and more to do with who she is.
See, and I think that was a really good point that he brought up because I feel like they kind of just went after her character to get people to hate her.
Well, because they didn't have anything else.
Right. So he's exactly correct. And, and the prosecutors were probably very confident in the fact that you have a dead child who sat out in the elements for 6 months. They couldn't get anything from because she was so deteriorated. They probably thought these people's hearts are going to freaking break. They're going to hate her. But you know what? Being a slut even doesn't make you a murderer. Just like being a cheater doesn't make you a murderer.
But it doesn't make you dumb either. And a liar.
No. But he's saying if you hate her, well, just listen. Let's keep listening.
I hate her.
I told you at the very beginning of this case that this was an accident that snowballed out of control. And while it was a very common accident, what made it unique, what made it different, is not what happened, but who it happened to. And you all sat here and saw some bizarre things throughout the course of this trial. Bizarre things that have been going on long before Kaylee was ever born and throughout her early life. You saw all of these things. This is not stuff that is new. There's something wrong here, something not right. And that's what makes this post-death behavior relevant. It explains it. But at the end of the day, it is irrelevant to the number one question that you all came here to answer. How did she die? And I will jump and piggyback off of what Mr. Ashton said and ask you not to speculate as to that fact. Now, I want to start with the car. Okay? And what's unique about the car is, again, what I told you at the very beginning. The car does not shed any light on how Kaylee died.
All right, I'm going to skip forward to the evidence
I used these
here.
boards during my opening statement when I explained
Because basically he's just talking about how they don't have any evidence. He's just like driving that point home that they ruined the evidence in the trunk by drying it out, all that stuff.
Certain things. And I think going back to them will kind of help you with the timeline of things. You'll recall that on the 27th Actually, you'll recall that Kaylee was last seen on June 16th, according to George Anthony, the testimony of George Anthony. Now, I will remind you that the indictment reads from June 15th, not June 16th. And that is very important for you to consider. And that raises the question is, does even the state of Florida believe that she was last seen?
Objection. The indictment itself is not evidence. It is charged in a way that says between certain.
Stay, let's move on.
He's like, let's move on.
Look at the indictment.
It's like, come on.
Look at all of the instructions.
He's like, at this point, does it matter?
He looks like he's getting ready for a nap.
You'll recall Tony Lazzaro testified that, and he was the young man that was dating Casey. And you'll recall that on the 20th of June, Casey ran out of gas. And Tony went to the apartment Tony went to help her get gas. They went to the Anthony home, and in the backyard, there is the shed where they got the gas cans from. You'll recall his testimony, and his testimony was clear that when they went to pour the gas, Casey did not try to block him away. Casey did not say, "Hey, don't get near my trunk." In fact, they poured the gas in the car. They opened the trunk, and they put the gas, and she put the gas cans in the trunk of the car. She could have easily put them in the front seat. She could have done whatever she wanted. She could have told him, "Go away, I've got this." She could have never gotten assistance from Tony Lazzaro at all. If she had a body, as suggested by the state, in the trunk of the car, or if the smell had been there, this young man would have smelled it. Remember, he put up with his hand and he went like that and he said, "It's right here." You've seen pictures of the car. The gas gauge, the place where you put gas in the gas tank, is right next to the back of the car. Why didn't he smell it? What happened there? Well, there's a reason for that, and that's because the car didn't smell at that time.
Is it just me, or is he like stumbling over his words a lot?
No, he is.
Yeah, I noticed that too. Another interesting thing I found out from the book was that the majority of his clients prior to this were in the Hispanic community. So he was used to defending Spanish speaking, a lot of Spanish speaking Hispanics in Florida for I don't think many criminal cases, but I could be wrong about that. But I thought that was interesting too, that was pretty much his forte. He was like the go-to for, the Hispanic community.
Well, they said this was his big case.
Oh yeah, I mean, this put him on the map. But it's just amazing. I would love to see him try cases prior to this. I would love to see what he did prior to this, because he's very simple. I feel like in the way that he defended her. I feel like it was very clever, but it was also very simple where the jurors could relate.
Mm-hmm.
He laid it out in layman's terms where they related with what he was giving them. The prosecution gave them nothing solid and nothing to hold on to, and he had them right in his hand.
Yeah, you wonder how many of them cases he won of the people he represented prior.
Yeah, I think he was very good. I think he was very good, and he was very well known in the Hispanic community. And actually, how she heard of him was an inmate, when she was being booked, asked her if she had a lawyer and said that they knew someone. So she said, "Oh, yeah, why not?" So she actually had that inmate contact a family member or a friend of the inmate, called Jose's office and set it all up.
Yeah, he came to see her the next day.
Yep, he sure did. He was all over it. He was intrigued. And Muffin Top, you have to be cocky. If you're a defense attorney, you have to have some level of cockiness about you, but he's cocky in a way where you kind of love to hate him in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
You don't hate his cockiness. Like, I look at his cockiness like if he was I would want him to be my lawyer, because his cockiness doesn't come across to me as cockiness. It comes across as I'm defending this person, and she is my number one concern. That's
he comes across
the vibe
factual.
I get. Like, I would feel very protected if he was my lawyer. He just gives you that vibe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would want him as mine, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, without a doubt. Writes down Jose's number. Speaking of writing down, I received my Brian Laundrie notebook that I'm going to do the science project on to see if the pages bleed. Yeah, so I actually got this notebook. This is one that is an all-weather notebook, and I figured if I was Brian Laundrie and I was going to buy a little notebook like this, and it really wasn't from a detective's pocket, that I would probably pick this up in the aisle at, like, you know, Gander Mountain or wherever they go and buy their shit, because it might be in the little aisle. It's an all-weather. So
Is it a Right in the Rain?
It sure is.
Yeah, that's what we used in the Army.
Is it really? Okay.
Yep.
So, yep, they're called Right in the Rain. And then I'm going to use the Sharpie, like, fine tip, ultra fine tip. And I'm going to do an experiment, and I will show you guys what I find out.
And you know what, Jay? It wasn't in the bag.
It wasn't in the dry bag?
No. I just read that how they said, how could all these pages in this, like, weather writing book not be in the bag but still be in perfect condition? That's why I think they dumped that notebook out there.
I don't know. I'd be very surprised if it does bleed, because I used those for years and I never ever had any issue with it. You
Was
could
it
always
in
read
the
it.
swamp for months?
Well, I was even thinking, you guys, I was going to go, I thought it was in the dry bag. I was going to get the same dry bag, and I was going to go put it in the damn swamp. I was going to wait until September or whatever the hell he went in the swamp. I was going to go set it there. And then I thought, dude, I could make this into a geocache, but then someone would probably fucking take it because people are jerks. But anyways, I was going to put it out there and then go back and get it when they found Brian and see what condition it was in.
No, it was the box was in the bag with the pictures and stuff, but the notebook they found first, and then they found the bag.
I
Why
thought
the
there
hell
was a
wouldn't the
journal
notebook be
and
in
a
there?
notebook, though. I thought there was a journal that was next to him with a suicide note, and that the notebook was in the dry bag.
Mm-hmm, that's what I thought as well.
We're gonna have to double check that, but I'm totally. I mean, I'll do it. I'll do it in the swamp. I have swamps by me, but I would do it. I could do it in that same swamp, in that same area. See what the rain brings. I don't know. Why not? What else do we? I mean, why not? We're birders.
Roberta.
Okay. Anyways, let's get back to Jose's timeline. I'm actually gonna fast forward to. All right, here we go. This
Hold
is
on.
where
It says, hold on. It says the notebook was clearly wet when it was found outside a dry bag. Authorities located Wednesday during their search.
So the notebook was in the elements, bare.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
so I'm even giving Brian the benefit of the doubt. Brian, Roberta, and Christopher, the benefit of the doubt that they had a weatherproof one. So mine should be in even better condition if he didn't have the weatherproof one, right?
Yeah.
Because mine's the treated special stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, because it said the notebook was found near his remains outside of the dry bag.
I think the parents took that notebook out there.
I don't think he wrote that note. No
Hell
way.
no, he didn't write that shiz.
No.
Roberta wrote it.
Roberta.
And where was Gabby's notebook?
Who knows? We don't know. We don't know what her family got back. But yeah, Laura W. I'm only like an hour, 2 hours away. But anyways, all right, let's keep going. I'm all over the place tonight. I love it.
So
It's
he went back
Saturday
and
Night
forth, and
Live.
You may recall that time. You have Deputy Forgy and his dog who was advised that this is the suspect's vehicle. And you may recall we did this small thing where I had each and every person who witnessed this dog inspection, and they all said there was only one car. But yet
I love how
Deputy
salty
Forgy
she looks.
lied to you, and he told you there were 2 cars. If you believe him, you have to believe that Yuri Melich, Michael Vincent, and Gerardo Bloisy were lying to you. Michael Vincent, the other CSI person who says he smelled a dead body. Mr. Arpad Bas, and we'll get into him a little later. Cindy Anthony, who said that during her 911 call, but yet said so because this was her 3rd call and she wanted the police to get there quicker. Simon Birch, who runs the police tow yard. Now, you may recall that Mr. Birch didn't make his statement until 9 days later after it was broadcasted all over the news and in fact referenced news reports during his statements to the police. You have George Anthony, who did an incredible job of pointing out to Yuri Melich the first night upon arriving, as soon as he arrived. And of course you have Dr. Neil Haskell, the $40,000 man, the entomologist, who explained several theories. Now let's take a look at who didn't smell what. Karen Sanchez, the manager at the Amscott tow yard, the Amscott check cashing place where the car was. You may recall she said she smelled garbage. Tony Lazaro, who went and got Casey, got the gas cans for Casey, and was actually right near the trunk on the 20th. Charity Beasley, the police officer who picked up the car and took it to the tow yard. Maria Kish, the girl I spoke about earlier, who sat in the back seat with her boyfriend, Clint House. He didn't smell it either. Sergeant Hosey. Now, he said he smelled something. He's a sergeant. There's a missing child. He's at the home. He's hearing lies. But yet, he didn't think it was sufficient to call the crime scene investigators. Why? Because the trash seemed like a plausible alternative. It was understandable if trash is in the trunk of the car for 3 weeks, that is probably the source of the odor. Deputy Ryan Eberlin, this was the young man who handcuffed Casey. He said he didn't smell a thing. Yuri Melich, the lead detective, who, again, like Hosey, was advised by George Anthony and still did nothing. His name is escaping me. Fletcher, yes. Rendon Fletcher, a corporal who said he did not smell anything and came in and out of that garage and that the trunk...
I mean, this is just crazy. He's literally putting the faces of all the cops and the experts and the people that were near her car right in front of the jurors and saying none of these people smelled anything. What do you think about that? If you were on the jury, what would you be thinking?
I'd have to believe him. I mean, there they are, right there.
Yep. He's refreshing their memory to their testimony that they didn't smell anything. Because right there, that main thing, the smell in the trunk, was a big thing for the prosecution.
Mm-hmm.
And then Cindy saying, it smelled like a dead body's been in the damn car.
But
Those
then the
two
crime
things.
scene people that he doesn't have on there, the 2 ladies that were actually in the crime scene that like went out there and looked in the car, they said they smelt it as soon as it came in. They were like, she said she knew the minute she walked in the office that it was decomp.
Right, but he's not going to talk about her because that doesn't work in his favor.
No.
Just like the
They
prosecution doesn't talk about shit that they should have.
They should have, yeah.
But that's what it's all about. So
was open.
Basically, I mean, we can move on to part 2 because that's what he talks about is all these people did not smell anything. And you're talking about cops, corporals, all this stuff. And it makes the jury, second guess that even if they didn't think that originally the first time, they're like, wait a minute. all these cops, and they say that death is a smell you never forget. How come none of these cops recognize that smell?
Mm-hmm.
Potatoes frozen.
Oh, Tato.
Yeah, and that's where the prosecution should have came back with their whiteboard showing everybody that did smell it, but they didn't. They just didn't do their job. They have no one to blame but themselves.
Yep. 100%.
We can't hear Jay.
Oh,
what?
no.
What do you mean?
Oh, there you are.
Oh, I was
like,
wasn't talking. I was listening. I was reading chat and I was listening. No, I was just thinking about part 2. I was trying to remember what comes up next, but I couldn't remember, so I'm going to have to play.
Actually, Judge, I think this would be a good stopping point. Judge, I think this would be a good stopping point. Both on the way they practice their science. One is a crime lab, a forensic crime lab that has strict standards, and a research lab that does research. They do they're explorers.
Okay,
they push the boundaries of the MySpace posting of Ricardo Morales. You heard evidence, ladies and gentlemen.
Is it too fast?
That Ricardo Morales posted this on his MySpace.
No.
At the same exact time.
I think it's fine.
He was dating Casey Anthony. He also testified that he was dating her in March. March is the same exact month as these searches. If you don't know what chloroform is, and your boyfriend is posting things like this on his MySpace page, it beckons the curiosity of what exactly that is, especially to someone who's young. What is that? Is that true? Can that actually happen? It's not unreasonable for a young woman to decide to research something like this based on what her boyfriend is posting. And wouldn't you know, what is the first search before the very first chloroform search is? MySpace. Exactly where he posted it. MySpace. Now,
wait, what did he
there
post?
comes the issue of Cindy Anthony.
Okay, so Ricardo,
we all
her
knew Cindy
boyfriend
Anthony.
at the time, he posted a meme of a woman, and it said like, it's a good date when you've got your woman on chloroform or something like that. And he posted that on MySpace, and then that was when the searches happened. So I think it makes sense because if I was young like her, and I had Google, I probably would have done the same thing because I wouldn't have really known what that meant.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean,
he made it just fit perfect.
Yeah, and it probably does. I mean, it just kind of makes too much sense not to be honest.
It makes way more sense than Cindy Googling it.
Mm-hmm.
But then why lie about
Then
it?
why lie? Yep, I agree, Potato.
Because I think that those searches, they thought that was going to be the damning thing that turned the jury, I think.
But if they just said this story, then that would have been more convincing than Cindy saying that she looked for it because her
Yeah, I
dogs
don't know
ate
why
bamboo.
they did that. Why'd they ever testify to that? And then...
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
It's weird.
Right, I'd be a little confused on that, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
In 2009 testified to doing these searches. We all knew that, both the state of Florida and the defense. That was something you needed to hear. And what the state of Florida decided to do is then go out and spend their entire rebuttal case to prove she's a liar. Well, I told you she was a liar the first day. I told you how this family lies. That has been clear throughout this case. Throughout this case. But there's one thing you can't deny, and that is MySpace goes right before the next Google search, how to make chloroform.
I mean, you can't really deny that she looked at it on MySpace and then the next thing is the Google search. But why didn't they drive that home earlier?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd have been more inclined to believe that story. They should
Then
have
why,
done that
but then why the neck breaking, the suffocation,
Yeah.
like why all that then?
Mhm.
Why did Cindy bring all that other stuff into play?
I don't know, but her neck wasn't broken, so it's a
No.
moot point.
Mm-hmm.
That the chloroform was a big thing. That was what they were basing Kaylee or Casey drugging her, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then Cindy was supposed to be a witness for the prosecution.
Mm-hmm.
And then she come out the gate saying, it was me.
Yep.
So I don't know if anybody even expected that, you guys. That Jose might have been like, what the fuck is she talking about?
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe that was something that she was going to testify that she didn't do, or I don't know. Maybe she made that decision on her own.
Mm-hmm. And that neck breaking stuff was alongside searches for self-defense as well, so it could have had nothing to do with.
You want my
situation.
You want my opinion on it? I think that she did it for him and Casey for more reasonable doubt.
Wait, say that again?
I think she did it for him and for Casey for more reasonable doubt.
Oh, to like get some confusion going on?
Yep.
Could be. I mean, there's a lot of different, plausible explanations, but I think
no matter
the whole
what,
end result is no matter how they did it, I think it still worked for the jury.
Yep.
Because, I mean, that totally makes sense. How many times do you see something on one app and then you go to Google and you search it up? Guilty is charged. I mean, I do it all the time. I'll watch a YouTube video on my phone and hear about a case I've never heard of, and I'm right on Google Googling it.
Yeah,
or Googling something about it. So I
think sorry, go ahead.
It's totally plausible.
And I think the controlling person that Cindy was, that's still her daughter, and I think she did it to protect her, and that's why she still stands today against her husband and everybody else and still defends Casey.
Mm. She totally has that attitude. I've lost my granddaughter. I can't get her back. I don't want to lose my daughter.
Yep.
And I think that that's a sentiment of a lot of people, to be honest with you. I think that, given, I mean, I think about the Watts case and think about Cindy and Ronnie Watts. That's all they have, Sometimes you have to cling on to what you have, and I don't know.
Except the Crumblies.
Oh, man, that's another discussion. The Crumblies versus the Cremos. Who's the biggest pieces of shit?
Oh, my God. I can't. It's so similar. It's insane.
It's terrible.
Did you see the latest that Cremo's mom got in trouble for leaving him in a car alone when he was a toddler?
Yeah. I shared that with you when it came out.
Yeah. I don't remember where I see things. I see so much shit.
Yeah, and she attacked her husband with a end of a screwdriver. They had 10 domestic abuse charges or calls to their house.
Oh, I didn't see that. I think my sister sent me a link.
It was all in the radar online. I sent it in.
Yeah, I don't see everything, but man, when I heard that, I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Who's the biggest POS? The Crumblies or the Cremos? I don't know. I'm leaning towards the Cremo side, but they're both POSs. Except the Cremos look like aliens, so it's it's hard not to just despise them so much,
This is not true.
Hey, Brandy.
This is misleading. And Ms. Jane Burdick, when she questioned Cindy Anthony on the stand, she said 84 5 times. She kept questioning her. 84 times you searched for chlorophyll? 84 times? When this report was in existence. Why? How could she do that? How can that evidence come before you? How is that true?
Okay, this is messed up.
That's why.
So he just answered our question because the prosecution brought up the searches. He didn't.
Yep.
So he's telling the jury, this report was here, that Ricardo posted the meme about chloroform, and then she immediately searched it on Google. He's like, that report was there. Why are they even talking to Cindy Anthony about these searches?
And that evidence of 84 times was wrong as well.
Right. So why is they? Oh my God, this is terrible.
It's like they got that bit of evidence and just ran with it, even though it wasn't right. They found out afterwards that it was only one search.
Look at her face too. Wow, this is crazy.
Chlorophyll 84 times when this report was in existence. Why? How could she do that? How can that evidence come before you? How is that truth? That's why you have more questions than answers. That's why situations like fantasy searches, fantasy forensics, phantom stickers, phantom stains, all of this nonsense. And no real hard evidence, no DNA, no fingerprints, nothing. But she's a liar and a slut. Convict her on that. And she lied. And she didn't act the way she needs to. She made some stupid decisions, but let's make her pay with her life. That's what this case is about. An accident that snowballed out of control. And it's out of control. It's out of control right now. And it has been out of control since the moment this trial began, since the moment this case began. It's out of control. And it's true. Casey made some bad decisions and started this. But it doesn't have to be continued. It doesn't have to be presented this way. This case does not have to come out this way. The truth stops here. The truth starts here. The nonsense stops right now. It should have stopped the moment you all raised your hands and chose to be jurors in this case and took that oath. Every single thing, all of that nonsense should have stopped, but it didn't. And this is what they want you to render a verdict. This is sufficient reasonable doubt, ladies and gentlemen, for you to say, you know what? I don't trust this evidence. This is proof, conclusive proof, that I don't trust this evidence. And on something so serious, when the law says I can reject part of it or I can reject the whole thing.
Oh my God.
It's just like there's an old legal adage that says if you go to a restaurant and you buy a meal and you find a bug in your meal, you don't take the bug out and continue eating. You send it back. You send it back. Something as so serious as your health, you would never risk that with. Now those are types of situations. That's in the situation you're right here in now. A situation so serious that when you make that decision in the jury deliberation room, it is irrevocable. You can never take it back.
Okay, so I don't even know why you would even need to hear any more being a juror, because he basically let them bury themselves by putting Cindy back on the stand about these searches. Mm-hmm. And when they didn't use the evidence, he saved it for the bomb at the end because he couldn't use the essay, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
And it's such a simple thing where if I was a juror, I would be like, wait, what? What do you mean? Because does that change anything for you guys? That you know that Ricardo posted this on MySpace. I mean, you can't, the digital footprint is there. Like, you can't deny that. So he posted this thing, a meme about having your woman on chloroform. A good date is when your woman's on chloroform or some shit. And then right the next minute, she's Googling chloroform.
But it still doesn't explain the duct tape for me, so...
But what does the duct tape have to do with chloroform?
Nothing. I didn't buy into the whole chloroform thing anyway, so it doesn't really make much difference to me.
Yeah, that's pretty much how I feel.
Because I didn't think she would make chloroform. I think that she would Google, why is he posting this meme? How does he know about chloroform? And what does it do? And how do you where do they get it from? That's what I would want to know. And I think that's what she did.
But I think as a juror, I would want to know, too, how the hell did she end up with duct tape on her face and a plastic bag in the middle of the woods?
Well, that's the question of the day. They have no idea how she died. So how can they send this girl to the death chamber when they can't even tell, when they fuck up evidence about Google searches explaining a meme? Mm-hmm. I mean, I think it's unfair to sit here and hate Casey Anthony.
Oh, I still hate her.
So do I.
But why do you hate her?
Because I think she smothered her and put her in a trunk. I still think she killed her.
I do too.
You guys think she killed her?
100. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
What?
Yeah.
Wow. I'm floored.
Yeah, no, I do.
The duct tape, the Winnie the Pooh blanket, the laundry bag. It's just, there's no way that they didn't do that to her. That's just how I look at it. There's just
And that
no
duct
way.
tape was special duct tape as well. Like it was a rare brand, and they had it in their garage. So, what's the chances
Oh, it
of it coming
definitely
from
came from
somewhere
her. I
else?
think it was an accident, though. I don't think she killed her. I don't
But
think
then
she
why
had any
put duct
motive to
tape?
kill her.
I do.
What was her
I think
motive?
she had motive. She hated her parents. She didn't want anyone
To
else to
punish
have
them?
Kaylee, and I think that she'd got these new friends and stuff. She was in a new relationship with Tony,
And
she
he
wanted
didn't
to live
want
that
kids.
life. And he didn't want to have kids, so
Yep.
he didn't want to have a woman who had kids. Like he was never going to marry her because she had a child.
You think she snapped because of that fight then? That's what made her not like give the baby to Cindy and go out with Tony whenever she wanted?
I think it was more than that. I think it had been building up over years.
I
Like she
think
didn't want Kaylee to start with.
I'm
she
not
didn't
saying
wanna
she's
go
not
with Cindy.
responsible because ultimately her kid ended up dead in the woods. And
she didn't report
she's
her
her
missing.
mom. Right. So she, ultimately, yeah, she's obviously responsible. Do I think she deserved the gas chamber? No. Because I don't think that there's enough proof to say that she did it. I mean, the fact that we're sitting here even debating this, X amount of years later, I think says a lot. It's one of those cases, but I think back then, I think everyone was so emotional at the time that followed it, that watched it like we did, that we didn't really catch these things about the chloroform explanation because it was a one-track mind. And I think it's a reminder that we can't do that we can't have tunnel vision when it comes to these cases, that we really do need to look at it with a fair eye. And I think that, comes with maturity and it comes with life experiences.
And not just solely relying on media as well for your information. Because, I mean, there was a big deal made out of that heart sticker on the tape, but there's no evidence that was even there. Like, the woman who saw it under UV lights, and then she went back to it and she couldn't find it again. So there was no proof there was even a heart sticker, but
it
that was
gone
everywhere.
over and over, like you said, on Nancy
Yeah.
Grace.
Yeah.
Nancy
Well,
Grace,
'cause
but
they found
every
her-
night, pounding it in the public's head.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
she had a heart sticker. She had a heart sticker. She had a heart sticker. They blow these things up, these minute details, and make them big details. When you actually look at the evidence, they're not big details.
And they stuck that heart sticker that they found like away from everything else. They
Yeah,
stuck
it
it
was
onto
away
the
from
tape
it.
afterwards. Like when they show it on the evidence stuck onto the tape, that's not where they found it.
Right.
Nope.
All they found was residue under UV light, which they then couldn't find again.
That they couldn't
Like
find
straight
that
away,
shape.
they couldn't find it.
And the thing too, like the stickers they showed in her room weren't those puffy stickers. And
Yeah,
that
they weren't.
heart was a puffy sticker. So they didn't have they had sheets of heart stickers, but they weren't those raised stickers.
Nope.
And we all know that stickers usually, in a pack, you have more than one that's a puffy sticker. So all those little things are what the media focused on. And I think that's not fair.
No, it's not fair.
But even going over this, we now see the facts, and I do think he did a phenomenal job and got her off because the state didn't do their job, but I don't feel her any less guilty.
Well, the jurors didn't either. They didn't think that she was innocent, but they couldn't convict her of anything.
Yes.
And they
Yeah.
wished that they could have.
Right,
They wished they
lesser
could have.
charges or, something. But Heather J., what are you thinking? You're awfully quiet back there. I think your wheels are churning.
But I honestly, I'm not 100% convinced that it was just Casey. I think they all had a hand in it. Maybe not Lee, but George and Cindy, definitely. I wouldn't have convicted her based off of what we've heard.
Would you two? Would Maligator and Potato, would you have convicted her or no? Or no?
Or no. Not based on the evidence that they gave, no, because there wasn't anything. So how could you make that decision? I'd have been like the other jurors and been like, well, I want to do something. Because they were saying they want to charge her with something, but they couldn't because there was nothing to back it up with. So
Their
they
hands were
couldn't have
tied.
conscience doing that without anything to follow it up with.
Yeah, they definitely
they
weren't
did.
going to send her to the death chamber.
And they hated the fact that they couldn't do that either. They were like, we're about to let her go. But they knew she'd done something.
Have come forward now and saying they can't even sleep, like that they wish would have been able to charge her with something.
And the judge also wishes that he'd given the jury more instructions to not focus on the cause of death, which is what they were struggling with, because they were saying, we can't say how she died, so how can we convict her of anything? The judge wishes he'd said that they didn't have to concern themselves with that.
Yeah, because the judge agrees she killed her also.
Yeah, and he thinks that it was chloroform as well.
Yep, he does.
I don't agree with that. What do I know though? But I think it was an accident, and I think that family's messed up, and I think it's possible. I think either way is possible. I don't think one or the other is not possible. So that's where I would sit. And I wouldn't, if I was on the jury and I didn't convict her, I would not lose sleep at night, because ultimately I was given only this choice. And morally, how can you send someone to the death chamber? In Florida, I think it's the gas chamber. How could you send someone to that and sleep at night? I'd have a harder time sleeping at night putting her on death row than I would walking away saying, you know what, they're the experts, right? The prosecutors are the experts. They should have known by the evidence or lack of that there should have been other charges available for us to choose. So I would have left there with a clear head and a clear conscience. And I don't think it's fair to hate her.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of crazy. The prosecution knew what evidence they had or their mistakes with the evidence, but they still shot too high. You think they would have gone a bit lower to try and win their case?
They underestimated him, I think.
Or overestimated their abilities.
Yeah, overestimated themselves.
Yeah, they were on each end of the spectrum, not in a good way.
And why couldn't they still put all those other charges and still went after, like, why was it only one or nothing?
Because I think they thought that it wouldn't be hard to get that. And they want, of course, they're prosecutors. They want that under their belt, a capital case. I mean, it's all about them. I mean, we watch these cases and these hearings and trials and everything. And, we see like the prosecutors, and it's all really a political game in there. It really isn't about the defendant. It really is about themselves. It really is. And, I think proof of that is that Jose jumped on it. He knows. That's how they're going to make the most green. You know what I'm saying? But this prosecution team, they all want to have these especially a capital case under their belt.
And a child capital case.
A huge high profile case that's going to get them all over the news, interview after interview. I mean, it's all about the publicity and furthering their careers. I think, first and foremost. I'm not saying they don't care about little Kaylee, but gosh, man, I just see so many like selfish people when it comes even to missing cases that we follow, that nothing surprises me anymore, that people are so self-serving, that, we're empaths. Like we actually like feel for these mothers that lose their kids, and we feel for these people. I think they're just so desensitized that they don't have that emotion towards these people and the cases that they're covering.
Well, she was an investigator, but look at Tammy Lee from the Chris Watts case. She made that all about her, posting on Facebook about it.
She sure did.
Yeah.
I hate to bring them up, but
no, don't hate to bring them up. No. It's a perfect example. It's a perfect example. She got awards for doing that. She got awarded for that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
here's my thing. What if they could have went this way then? If they thought reasonable doubt, but then they all felt like they wished there would have been more charges, why didn't they hung hung jury or deadlock to retry.
Well, two of them just gave up. Two of them basically said, well, we're not gonna convince you otherwise, so we'll just go with your decision. So
And
I
that's
think
not okay.
that is hard, and that's not okay. They should have stuck with their decision, and they didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And that happens a lot, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's bad.
Well, when you're paying them peanuts to sit there and they've been there for a month and a half, they're like, whatever. The majority wins. I mean, look at the judge. He's ready to go on vacation, man. He's had it. He's fucking had it. The only one that's bright-eyed and bushy-tailed is fucking Jose. Because he knows he's won. Everyone else is spent. For real. Even Casey looks spent. But he's loving this because this is his day. And that's what it's all about. But I really do feel like we were talking about, like the emotional part of it. I feel like he really believed what he was fighting for.
I agree.
Well, I think that's why he was so convincing.
Because he was genuine. We see so
Very-
many slimeball attorneys that you're just like, ugh, shut up. I mean, how many times do we see in chat like, oh my God, this person's putting me to sleep, He wasn't. He was entertaining. You notice the witnesses interacting with him in that way. It was just...
Yeah, he was passionate.
Yeah, you couldn't take your eyes off him, and that's important.
You know what I noticed even as we were watching was that the court reporter, she even was looking at him a lot as she was like typing. I'm like, even she's kind of mesmerized, by what he's saying and in his charisma. He's charismatic, I guess is the word. All right. So do you think that we need to play the whole closing? Or do you think that we can go straight to the verdict?
I think we can go to the verdict, but I think you should take a poll in chat and see if everyone's minds have changed since watching this rewatch, if they would have found her guilty or not guilty, or if they still think she did it. Because I'd be interested to know if this changed anybody's mind.
Okay, while I do that, I'm going to play a little bit more of his then, because maybe something will trigger someone.
Yeah.
And they'll have reasonable doubt that they didn't have before.
Movies and sitting there and waiting. And she never appeared. And this has nothing to do with Kaylee's death. This is something that just doesn't add up. This is something that's just not right. This is the world that Casey lived in. Juliet had a daughter named Annabelle. Cindy knew all about Annabelle, Kaylee's playmate. You heard about Raquel Farrell, another roommate of Zanny's. She worked at Universal too. Eric Baker, who could have been Kaylee's father, but he died in a car accident, in a motorcycle accident. And Kaylee has a stepbrother somewhere in Kentucky.
Wait, what?
Her fictional bosses, Tom Manley and Thomas Frank. Event
What did he
coordinators
say?
at Universal Studios. At Extension
Just saying her fairy tale land that she was living in. These are the lies she was telling. Her make believe that's just.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait, did I miss something? Look at the court reporter. All right. I just put a poll up. Would you have convicted Casey after rewinding this case? I have a feeling. Okay, I'm going to make a prediction. I'm not going to look at the results yet. I'm thinking that it's probably going to be pretty high up there that people would still convict. I want to say like probably 85% are going to say that they still would.
Really?
I wouldn't by evidence now rewatching. Back then.
I'm talking about now because we rewound it. So now where do you stand? If you were on that jury, would you have convicted?
No. But I still think
I got Maligator to admit that she wouldn't have. I bet you never thought that you would feel that way.
No.
Based on,
like based on watching it to now rewinding and going through, he 100% did his job, and he gave a lot of reasonable doubt but it doesn't change my mind that she wasn't involved in her death at all.
Yeah.
But I think he got her off because he did his job.
Okay, so I have a hypothetical. What if Casey would have come out and said after the 31 days, you know, Dad found her in the pool. You know, when like Cindy called 911, you know, like, oh my God, you know, Mom, Dad found her in the pool. He woke me up. You know, this is what we did. And he's like, I'll take care of it.
Ball game. That would have been totally different for me.
But she still went out partying and stuff. So
right. So
it really wouldn't change it for me. I just still thought she was bad for doing that.
Terrible person.
It was an accident. Like, I couldn't imagine something like that happening to your child and then you just carrying on and partying and getting tattoos and stuff
but
like
you
nothing
know
had ever happened.
But you know what, Potato? I can't imagine my parents sneaking in my room at night and doing horrible things to me and then having to get up and brush my teeth the next day and go to school like nothing ever happened.
But we don't know that actually happened though.
But we don't know that she actually killed her. Right.
And we don't know that she was SA'd, so
no, we don't.
I don't know. It's hard to, I don't know.
That would be a
I'm
whole
just saying with everything that was presented to us, I mean, the way he explained that is plausible. If it
she would have still been negligent because when your child drowns in a pool and it's an accident, you call 911. You
but
don't
would you have convicted her?
How could? But here's my thing, Jay, and I think like I don't know if this is not resonating, but no matter what happened, had she drowned, whatever, she was put in 2 garbage bags and a laundry bag in the middle of the woods in a swamp. I will never get past that. She threw her baby girl, whether it was her dad or her or whoever, she threw her away like trash.
You're being very emotional, and you can't base your verdict on emotion.
I'm not.
You're doing just what people do with Chris Watts, though. They say, "Oh my God, I can't get past the oil tanks. I can't get past the oil tanks." There's a lot of people.
I wouldn't have convicted her, though.
But there's a lot of people that think that way, right? How do we know that George didn't put her out there? How do we know that he didn't say, "I'll take care of it"? Is what I'm saying.
But she should have reported it then.
So you still would have found her.
She's still her mom. She's still her mom.
I agree with that.
Trial, I would not have found her guilty with what I've seen. But in my eyes now, as a mom, if that happened, I would never, my first thought wouldn't be to throw my child or grandchild, whether it was him or her or anybody, in the woods in garbage bags.
Right, but we're not living their life, so we know that their dynamics are not like ours.
So they're still guilty of that, right? I mean,
it was everything
in their home.
If it was George that had done it, I don't think that he would have put her so close to home either, or used tape or anything from his garage that could link back to him.
No. I don't think he walked out to those woods, Potato. I'm with you. I don't think that either. I think George got that baby in the back seat of the car for her, or in the trunk of the car, I mean.
And then what, just left her to get rid of her?
Like, you did this, you deal with it?
No. I think he said, I'll handle this. And they both had a hand in it, so he bagged her up and put her in the trunk, and it was Casey's job to put her somewhere.
But that means that he would have...
The pet cemetery, right?
He would have used the tape, though. If he'd bagged her up and put her in the car, then he would have used the tape.
Yep.
From his own garage, that was a rare type of tape.
Yep. To make it look like a homicide.
But from his own house, though. That's linking back to his own house. So I don't think that he would... I don't think Casey would have thought of that. And I think George would have.
Go on a limb here and say if anybody helped her, it was Cindy.
But hold up. There was duct tape on the gas cans. So how do we know that duct tape didn't come from the gas can?
Because it was just a little square piece. It was just one square piece where she had 3 layers over her face.
Yeah.
Right, but what I'm saying is, you know, like when you tear off tape, right? And you put it on something so you can grab it? Like you take a bunch of pieces of tape and you go... So when you're doing something, your hands are busy. You can just grab those pieces. How do we know that those pieces weren't stuck to the fucking gas can and that was just an extra one?
So then how did it get on her face and around her hair when she was wrapped in a blanket, put in 2 garbage bags that were cinched clothes and a laundry bag?
It was put there to make it look like a homicide so that they didn't get in trouble.
I don't know.
I think that's why they masked the accident.
I agree to disagree.
But also, she didn't decompose inside that bag either. She was outside of the bag when she decomposed. So if the tape had just been floating around in the bag or whatever, how did it get onto the front of her face? And
But when you have animals chewing bones, isn't it possible that that tape was in the garbage and an animal stepped on it and then it got caught on her hair? I mean,
the way it was sat,
she was
it was
scattered
around. But it was sat like directly over the lower part of her.
She wasn't all scattered around.
Yes,
though.
she was.
Some parts were. The majority they said were in the bag.
Her bones were chewed by animals.
Yeah.
Oh, her torso and her pelvis was in the same place.
Yes.
So
it was just her limbs.
I mean, it's the same thing. I just rewatched that freaking Scott Peterson thing again last night. The A&E, the twine around Connor's neck. That's like a noose. In the prosecution in Scott Peterson's case, I remember them saying, "Oh, it got caught up in the bay. He got that wrapped around him in the bay." But it was around his neck, and then there was another piece around another part of him, and I don't remember what. But
they even said the coroner said that he hadn't been in the water as long as it seemed like he wasn't in the water as long as her because his body was in way better condition.
Yeah, Lacey's was almost unrecognizable.
Yeah.
Well, he was inside her womb, though.
Her uterus, yeah.
True.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, if the prosecution in that case expects us to believe that a piece of twine could literally noose itself around a baby's neck in the bay due to currents and waves and things like that, I think it's possible that any kind of rubbish or trash that was laying around or in that bag possibly with her, let's say the bag was double bagged and then they put 2 pieces of tape around the top of the plastic bags to make sure they stayed shut instead of just tying them. And then the animals tore it open. And that tape, I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying
3 layers perfectly placed on each side holding her hair together and her jaw. That is just too, I mean, them animals would have been like, hey, you grab this side, we're going to wrap it around this baby's face and hair.
I just think strange things can happen when you're out in the elements, especially in Florida where it's hot as fuck. There's all kinds of rattlesnakes, moccasins, alligators.
Oh my God. We all have our opinions and we all will agree to disagree. Let's just go with that.
It's that possibility and probability thing, isn't it? Anything is possible, but what is the chances of it being probable?
Exactly.
I think it's just as probable that what you guys think happened and what I think happened, that it was an accident and they covered it up. I think George is shady as shit. I don't think that he is a stand-up guy by any means. He's cheated on his wife multiple times. He can't be believed. Not saying he's a murderer, but he's obviously not very truthful or loyal. Plus, he spent the family's savings on gambling. I mean, the guy's not a stand-up dude. I don't see him as the leader of the family. I don't see him as a good example for Lee. I'm just going to say it. I don't think he's that good of a person. I don't think it's out of the realm of logical thinking to think that George Anthony would possibly cover that up. Either A, so his wife didn't know that him and his daughter fucked up and the daughter died on their watch, because Cindy would never let them forgive it. Cindy would have put them both in prison. If you think she wouldn't.
The reason why I think Sydney would be more apt to help than him, the way it was so, okay, here's my thing. Let me just get this out and then I'll be done. That it was so intimate the way they wrapped her in her blankets. It was intimate like how close to home, right off the road, something a woman would do. I think if it was him dumping her, he would have went way further away. He wouldn't have used things from their own home. And I think women panic and they don't think of all of those things. And if Cindy left the ladder up, she's going to be the blame.
I think if it was Cindy, though, she wouldn't have had the same reaction she did on that 911 call when she realized that Kaylee had been missing.
But then she also lied on the stand, so we have to think.
Yeah, she did lie then, but not with the same kind of emotion. I believe what she said in that 911 call, that there was smell of dead body and stuff. I think those reactions were real.
I have a feeling that Cindy didn't know the whole story right away. That was the feeling I got. She seemed to be kind of in the dark. Like when they went and picked up that car, she seemed to be a little more in the dark, and I don't know, like you said, that emotion in that call, if she knew something, I don't think.
But then she also testified that she just said it to get the cops there faster. So she lost credibility for me because of those.
You can't believe anything that came out of her mouth.
No.
I can't trust any of them.
Right.
Yeah.
No, none of them can be trusted. You're right.
There's no justice for Kaylee, and they should have still investigated this case because that little girl deserved justice, no matter who they dug into.
So, I mean, the bottom line is this. The bottom line is this, right? It's probably like everything that you said. I want to address what you said because those are all really good points. What was your first one? I know your second one was that she was close to home. Your third one was that she didn't go deep into the woods. What was your first point?
That it was wrapping her in her Winnie the Pooh blanket.
Oh, yeah. You said
their home.
Right. So, but think about it this way. So, like with that, if it was an accident, and it doesn't mean they didn't love her. It didn't mean that they didn't want to, put her in her with her favorite, blankie and with her favorite stuffed animal. I think that this is how I see it. Now, I'm trying to take my emotion for this little girl out of it completely. And I look at Cindy and George's relationship. She definitely is the dominant one. She wears the pants. She makes the decisions. She probably controls all the money because he's a fuck up, right? She let him have it. You spent all our money on gambling. You've done this. You've done that. She never let him forget it. She never let him fucking forget it. So here's George, who's kind of dumbed down as the man of the family. He's not the man of the family. So what does Lee see as that example in his dad and how his mom is with his dad and that whole thing? And then you throw Casey in the mix, who is seemingly this spoiled brat who gets out of everything. She's never held accountable for shit. So you have all of these crazy dynamics. And then you have this accident. Let's put the accident theory out there. You have this accident where George and Casey are both like, fuck, right? They're both there. They both know this has happened. And they know that their mother and his wife, they don't know what she's going to fucking do. Because she's off the fucking chain.
At work. It shows after the case, and he even brings it up in the book, because the prosecution missed it. It shows the deleted file on Firefox that she looked up suffocation, and George Anthony was at work at the time of that looking up at 2:50.
Yeah.
So we didn't see that in this trial, but it came out after, and he even put it in his book.
I never saw George Anthony's timesheet.
He talks about it after.
I don't care what he says. He's a liar.
No, I'm talking Jose.
Baez.
Oh,
yeah,
Baez.
His defense team found that deleted file that the prosecution missed. And it showed it was at 2:50. She was looking up whatever suffocation. I can't remember what the first word.
Foolproof suffocation.
There you go. Foolproof suffocation. And it was at 2:50.
But
and
we don't even know what time he left.
It
We're
showed
going
he was
off his word.
At 3, though.
Who did? What did? What showed?
It showed that she looked up foolproof suffocation at 2:50, and it showed he was pinging at work at 3 o'clock. He could have never been there because he works far from their home. It came out after this trial. Jose talks about it in his book.
I've never heard of George's ping, so I don't know. I can't comment on that because I don't know anything about it.
And Jose's team found that.
I still don't trust George Anthony.
I just think it was very scattered, and I think it was more woman, like, you don't think of all the things they're going to think, oh, this was all the stuff from your house.
I don't think Casey Anthony would think, like, if it was an accident, like, oh, I'm going to put tape on her. So if you believe that Casey Anthony put tape on her, you have to believe that Casey Anthony just straight up murdered her.
I do.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
too.
I don't have enough to give me that.
I can't decide who murdered her. I honestly have no idea.
I think either way, anything's possible. And that's what's so messed up. And that poor baby girl deserved better.
Yeah.
I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
In my eyes, she murdered her by not protecting her, by not reporting her, by not disposing her.
Any way you slice it, she was mom. And
it's your job when
you're
get
mom, that's your job. Absolutely right.
So she's responsible to me no matter what happened. Accident, not accident, murder, not murder. She was
so ultimately, really, I mean, the prosecution failed Casey or Kaylee.
Yeah.
Yep, they did.
I want to watch the verdict and the reactions, though. Oh my God, we only have 38 people here. Why is it so? Oh, it's Saturday night. I keep forgetting. I keep thinking it's Sunday because usually we're Sunday Night Live.
There was like 75. What is the poll?
We'll get replayers though. I just know we will because we're just cool like that.
What's the poll at?
Oh, let's see. Let's end it.
Because before everyone was 100%.
Oh, would you have convicted Casey after rewinding this case? Yes, 60%. No, 39%.
Wow, that's a lot.
I am so proud of the Roberters. They're so open-minded. I love it.
Yeah, I told you.
I'm so proud of you guys. You know what, Maligator would have been that one that sat on the jury, and she would have been like, nope, fuck y'all. I'll sit here as long as the fuck you want.
Oh my God, I mean, I left my job to come for the verdict. I was so pissed.
She would have. Am I right or am I wrong?
Oh no, you're right.
You totally would have been the one like, fuck y'all. I don't care. I got all the time in the world.
I would have never let two people say, I just give up. I'm taking your, just to fight, to not like let it be done. I would have deadlocked or hung jury to have a retrial to get better evidence and more understanding and better terms in the, you know.
Yeah, you would have looked at the big picture.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
I wouldn't have just let people say, I'm done, get me out. Then tell them you don't want to be on the jury to begin with, because you can get out of it if you say, I think she's guilty as hell.
Yeah, that's really shitty.
Yeah,
and I like to look at things like, if that was my family member, like, how would I want things to go, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, that's what I've always...
trial when they found that out.
That's what I've always kind of tried to put myself in the shoes of, you know, like, not just the victim, you know, if there's a murder, like the Watts, you know what I mean? Like, I try to look at everybody and everybody who has to deal with these things, and they aren't prepared for it, and they're not expecting it, and they couldn't have stopped it. And I just think that it's really important to like put yourself in those shoes when you look at these things. I don't know. I think I got off topic.
But you did change my mind on I would not have
convicted.
No.
I mean, I didn't want to change your mind. I'm just glad to see that people were open-minded enough to even reconsider changing their mind.
But I don't think I would have not convicted either. I would have said, we can't come to an agreement. I wouldn't have let people just throw in the towel.
Right, because you would have known, oh, hey, we'll let another jury handle this then.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we all should feel. I mean, no one should just throw in the towel because
if they weren't unanimous, no. Absolutely not.
And two did. So how did they not retry that if two jurors said we just kind of threw in the towel because we couldn't come to an agreement? That's not
Especially with a
Circuit
death
Court
penalty case.
for the Ninth Judicial Circuit
I mean,
in
come
Orange
on.
County, Florida.
I mean, hence
State of
Scott
Florida.
Peterson getting a new trial because of that juror.
Mm-hmm. I'd be terrified if I had to have a jury trial right now. I'd be so terrified.
Me too. I'd be terrified if someone looked at my Google searches.
Yeah, same.
I was just telling the girls the other night, like one day the FBI is literally going to be at my door.
Hey, oh guys,
I looked up.
I got it. I got something to share with you guys real quick because you just triggered my brain with the FBI. So I was on this site, right, and I was looking in the FBI vault of different things, whatever. Well, I had this idea. So because I'm like a music fanatic, right? I thought it would be really cool if I did like my own series on, like musicians and like their stories. Cause like I was shocked at how many musicians are in the FBI vault on their website as being followed. Like back in the late 60s, early 70s, like they thought that these people were like satanic and like, because all of this, it went from, like I said, the Beatles and the Suits to the hallucinogenics and LSD and tripping and, love and sex and all of that and all the diseases that went with it. And people literally thought this was like the end of the world. Like, oh my God, what is happening? And it just kind of, I like revisiting it because it kind of makes me feel not so maybe dreadful about the times ahead of us, because I think things in the past can really make us put things in perspective now. Like if you go back and watch the Great Depression and we're all bitching about gas prices and the price of milk, when you look back, like those people were bringing home maybe $10 a week and they couldn't eat. I mean, it was horrible. So like, I guess looking back on these things kind of makes me feel a little bit more hopeful that maybe it's not such doom and gloom, that it's a lot of media and social media that it's in our face. But I just think that, I forget what I was saying now, but I just think that, going back in these cases and going back to those times is just so interesting. And to see that the FBI was following, like Sammy Davis Jr., there's a file on him, The Doors, all kinds of artists, like people you would have never thought of.
Crazy.
Yeah, and it's so super interesting. I was just like clicking through them. And it's not just, pop culture. They've got all different categories, like organized crime, violent crimes. And it's really interesting. So I think that if I was that intrigued by what I saw, that you guys probably would too. So I'm going to try that out and see how it goes. I mean, it'd be interesting.
And you never know like who they really are looking at and who's really involved in these horrible things. I mean, look at Epstein, how many.
Well, yeah, all these things a lot of them are old
people. Mm-hmm.
So how would we even know when the shit happened before we were even born? Mm-hmm. But like
imagine how much worse it is now.
Well, I don't even know, because it seems like when I was reading through them and they like when they were talking about like people like what was it, the verbiage? I can't remember the word they used, but it was something about like a band being perverted. So it was the song it wasn't Wild Thing, but it was one of those songs, Mellow Yellow. I can't remember which one it was, but it was actually brought to the FBI's attention that this song may be too perverse and it's being played, has like this hidden meaning and you can't really understand the words, but they thought it was too perverse to be played over fucking state lines.
Like Coco Melon?
This is a file. And then I was reading, and this is totally off topic, but the Michigan militia people, I know we've talked about that with Nichols, the Oklahoma City bombing. I met Nichols and all that. And anyways, I came across James Wilkerson's file. I think that's his last name, Wilkerson or Wickerson. Anyways, he was supposedly this big militia guy in Michigan that we all heard about, the Michigan militia. We were all supposed to be scared. James Wilkerson is what it was. Anyways, he started like this Christian like identity group, where they believe like the white race is like the like the Aryan nations, whatever the hell they are. So anyways, we were made to believe this guy was like scary, like he was a huge threat, like they got to take him down. So I found his FBI file. So I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh, this is so interesting. So I'm scrolling through it. They literally admit that he had 10 to 20 followers. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? This file is that big? They were sitting outside the Saginaw, Michigan Police Department, the Michigan State Police Department, and the FBI were surveilling this dude outside of his home in rural, the thumb up here of Michigan. And he was this big terrorist threat. It was like domestic terrorism, That's what they had all in the paperwork. And then it was all redacted. All this shit was redacted except 10 to 20 followers. And I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. He was holding meetings in like a rec room at the VFW or so. I don't even know. It was like not what it was portrayed to be in the media. So it was weird to read it. I found it so interesting. I'm all excited.
Yeah, I want to see that. You gotta.
Yeah, now I'm intrigued.
But like Jim Morrison of the Doors, he was also followed for like being lewd and his behavior. It's crazy, and it's just kind of it seemed like such an innocent time because like, oh, these words might be offensive. Now we have songs calling women bitches and whores, and no one thinks anything of it. No one bats a fucking eye. Us as women, we sing those lyrics every day. It doesn't mean anything anymore. But I don't know, it's just weird to go back to that time where things were seemingly more innocent. But another thing, Maligator, that is in there is Gacy. Now, mind you, most of it is redacted that's in there. But what I found interesting wasn't your brother, wasn't that 1967? Oh, wait. I think I actually might. Oh, no, that's Bertolino. Darn it. Oh, wait. Here's Timmy with Gacy. Let's see what year that was. Mama Maligator, give me that date.
I don't know it. Ask Tracy.
Oh, I thought it was on here. John Wayne Gacy holding Timothy. So this is Maligator's brother, everyone. Ooh, weather notification. This is Maligator's brother. I love showing this picture. I have it saved in OBS, so all I have to do is click it.
He's 6 years older than me, so I was born in 1974.
Okay, so
Timothy
is a few months old.
9. He's probably I would say probably 8-9 months.
Okay, well, in this FBI file, Mr. Gacy, aka Mr. Colonel Sanders, he committed sodomy in the state of Iowa, where he was helping his dad run 3 KFC restaurants in 1967.
Yeah, that's where he got that charge, and he actually went to prison.
Dismissed.
Got out. Yeah. Mm-hmm. He got away with it.
I didn't know that Mr. Gacy worked at KFC. I will never look at Colonel Sanders the same again.
Oh, poor Colonel.
That still freaks me out.
I think Colonel Sanders is in the FBI files too. No, but it's really interesting. So if you guys, I'm gonna try it and then we'll see. I don't know, but it's interesting too because all these people are dead and some of them are kind of, it's all notable because they're famous. But Jim Morrison, his death, there's a lot of conspiracies and controversies around a lot of these people's deaths. So
I found a bunch of Freedom Information Act files on Gacy that I'm gonna go through.
He's one, you know what? He's one that I have a really hard time with him and Dahmer. They're two of my least favorites to talk about.
And he was so high up with law enforcement. He was very well known.
Well, we got to watch The Verdict. Really fast. We're all so done. We're done with this bitch, man. We are so done with her.
We are too.
Yeah.
I just feel like I have to go through the motions and play it because if
Yeah.
we don't, then people are going to be like, why didn't you share it? You did all that.
Okay,
All right,
Yeah, we
so
gotta
it's a
finish it.
2-minute video. I think we can get through 2 more minutes of Miss Casey. All right, here we go. I remember the nerves waiting for this to be read.
Oh, me too. I felt like I was going to
Yeah.
throw up.
Oh, I
Me
think it was like
too.
hours after they said the verdict's in, and we had to wait and wait. It seemed like hours. All right, here we go.
In the Circuit Court for the 9th Judicial Circuit in and for Orange County, Florida. State of Florida versus Casey Marie Anthony. As to case number 2008 CF 15606-0. As to the charge of first-degree murder, verdict as to count 1, we, the jury, find the defendant not guilty, so say we all, dated at Orlando, Orange County, Florida, on this 5th day of July, 2011, signed foreperson. As to the charge of aggravated child abuse, verdict as to count 2, we, the jury, find the defendant not guilty, so say we all, dated at Orlando, Orange County, Florida, this 5th day of July, 2011, signed foreperson. As to the
Okay,
charge,
so I think we're letting the jury off the hook a little bit because I think
I
not
didn't know that
reporting
that
your
was aggravated. I
but
didn't know that part.
is not reporting your daughter missing for 31 days child abuse, or is there another legal term for it?
I would think neglect.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's probably negligent.
Endangerment.
Yes.
So the abuse would have been like physical, and they didn't
Yeah.
have anything for that.
Yeah, so they really needed to get their charges more precise.
Reworded.
Then why didn't they put something in there for
McNutt.
negligence? That's something that they could have proven.
Yep.
Because
Oh.
I don't know, man. They really screwed up, though.
of aggravated manslaughter of a child. Verdict is to count 3. We, the jury, find the defendant not guilty.
Aggravated manslaughter, you guys. They could have chose that.
Yeah. Well, that's what the juries now came forward and said they wish they did charge her with the manslaughter.
They must not have felt very confident in that.
Well, I think that they were pushed. I think a lot of them were just like, let's get out of here. Like they said, the two were like, whatever.
Well, it seems like it would have been easier to come in the middle than it would have to, some people to throw in the towel.
I have a feeling those are the two jurors that came out and talked.
They still didn't have evidence for manslaughter either, though. They couldn't say that she'd committed manslaughter. So they still couldn't come to that conclusion.
But couldn't they, as a jury, come to a happy medium?
Mm-hmm.
They
We
were
don't know if
bound
she
by
directly did it.
But the jury instructions are everything. And if they can't meet those instructions,
True.
then they
Yeah,
can't
because the
do
judge
anything.
says he wish he would have put it in different now
Yeah.
after.
Mm-hmm.
Guilty. So say we all, dated at Orlando,
Now
Orange
this
County,
is where
Florida,
it's
this
getting
5th
real.
day of July, 2011, signed foreperson.
Mhm.
As to the charge of providing false information to a law enforcement officer, verdict as to count 4. We, the jury, find the defendant guilty of providing false information to a law enforcement officer as charged in the indictment. So say we all, dated Orlando, Orange County, Florida, this 5th day of July, 2011, signed foreperson. As to the charge of providing false information to a law enforcement officer, verdict as to count 5. We, the jury, find the defendant guilty of providing false information to a law enforcement officer as charged in the indictment. So say we all, dated Orlando, Orange County, Florida, this 5th day of July, 2011, signed foreperson. As to the charge
Oh
of
my
providing
God.
false information to a law enforcement officer.
I was in a daze as they were reading that. I'm like, wait a minute, are they done? Shit.
As to the charge of providing false information to a law enforcement officer, verdict as to count 6. We, the jury, find the defendant We, the jury, find the defendant guilty of providing false information to a law enforcement officer as charged in the indictment. So say we all, dated Orlando, Orange County, Florida, this 5th day of July, 2011, signed foreperson. As to the charge of providing false information to a law enforcement officer, verdict is to count 7. We, the jury, find the defendant guilty of providing false information to a law enforcement officer as charged in the indictment. So say we all, dated Orlando, Orange County, Florida, this 5th day of July, 2011, signed foreperson.
I got nothing. I'm done. I've got nothing.
Oh, look who's up in the corner. Creepy Jody.
Oh, yeah, Jody. We've got Lee Harvey Oswald. We've got Hanson, because I was jamming out to some bop earlier.
That's a classic.
That must have auto-played when I was sleeping. There's Creep Town, dude. Casey, George. Not sure what that is.
It was weird to drive to see where they found his phone, like, so close. It was weird to just, like, be at that location.
Hanson.
Bop. That's a good song, though.
It is a damn good song. Come on.
All these murderers, and then there's Hanson.
I know. You don't want to see my YouTube history. You'd be like, that girl's bipolar for sure. No kidding.
I really want to know where these prosecutors are today, what they're doing.
He retired, but it said he remains close friends with the Anthony family, that they actually talk with him quite a bit.
Oh,
that's weird, isn't it? Do you guys think that's weird?
It is weird if one doesn't believe and one does. I mean, it's a little weird. I think them staying together is weird.
Here,
yeah.
I got one more. I'm gonna.
My other thing is, like, if he was gonna kill himself too, like when he tried to commit suicide, don't you think he would have wrote in there and just got it all out and said it was all me, I did this, blah blah blah, just to like.
Who, George?
Yeah.
No, he doesn't want to go to prison.
He was gonna be dead.
You think George wants to be someone's bitch? No way.
He was gonna kill himself. He wouldn't have been around to be in prison.
Dude, that guy is. There was no way that motherfucker was gonna kill himself.
He took stuff. They found him.
If he wanted to die, the dude would have been dead. That's all I'm gonna say.
They pinged him.
I don't trust George Anthony as far as I could fucking throw him, and I don't doubt that he would use that as a way to get sympathy. I don't trust him. I think he's a creep.
Creep town, dude.
He does. He creeps me out. He creeps me out. Like if Casey was my friend in high school, like he would have been that dad. Like I wouldn't wanted to go swimming at their house. He just
uncomfortable.
He just gives me weird vibes. I don't like when he sat down at the jail. Hey, gorgeous. Weird. Like so inappropriate. Just
that was weird.
I don't know. I just get, and I don't even. I've only seen maybe a half hour of George Anthony total, and I just get a bad vibe from him. I think they're icky.
And I love
visit him, Jay.
I love that we can have this panel and we all agree to disagree. But still, oh my God, Jay! I'm gonna be seeing that now in my head all night.
I know. That's why I did it. I gotta find my special video for you guys. And then if you guys have a couple of minutes after we're done here, I just want to go over tomorrow. You guys, tomorrow, Manson, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You guys tell them what's going on with Manson.
No, you guys.
Be there or be square.
I can't wait.
Like so excited.
Well, we're all square anyways. So
I'm gonna be at work crying.
No, you're not.
Yes, I had off Monday and Tuesday, and you pick Sunday.
We always do Sunday Night Live.
Sunday Night Live.
Mm-hmm. I love Sunday Night Live.
Yeah, me
too. I'm sad I'm missing it.
I know, but you don't always work every Sunday Night Live.
Why don't you put your lamp on and you can be here in spirit while we talk to the lamp?
Oh, yes. We need Maligator's lamp for some upcoming lives as well. Gosh, where is that video?
Someone is shooting off fireworks. Come on.
You know, I hate when they do that. Like, well after 4th of July, it's like, come on. You know pets hate them.
Mm-hmm.
And they just keep it going. In Michigan, it was insane. Like when they made those legal, the big ones legal, it was crazy. People were getting hurt, blowing their fingers off. They were loud. They were obnoxious. They were doing it in neighborhoods. You know, those big ass fireworks going on people's roofs and stuff. Crazy.
People across the street set them off last weekend, and you could hear the whatever it is dropping from the air hitting my car. I'm like,
Oh, God.
excuse me.
Oh.
I had to drug my dogs.
Yeah, it pisses me off. Okay, so here's the video. Let me pull it up. Thanks for having patience tonight, you guys.
We get a little sidetracked
Thanks
sometimes.
for having patience tonight. No, I was telling you guys, thanks for having patience with me.
Oh.
All right.
We always get sidetracked.
I know. I love it, though. Okay, so tonight's video is brought to you by Tim Mullen, a.k.a. Donald Wells Family Official. They put out this reminder for everyone today. It is a reminder that YouTube videos or Facebook theories, both of which Tim Mullen, the media manager, partakes in, are not useful for tips or wanted by the TBI. This includes all channels, even the ones that they promoted, right? With the official Don Wells family interviews.
Mm-hmm.
This includes all channels, regardless of the number of subscribers or views or public interviews a creator may participate in. Now, this is his words, not theirs. This is not the words of the TBI.
And I love how he says it's not social media that solves cases. I'm pretty sure social media solved Gabby Petito.
Boom. Got that right.
A four-way, if you will.
So, anyways, it says, anyone other than Hawkins County Sheriff's Department, TBI, or FBI, and direct accompanying individuals such as the family PI, is not a representative of the Summer Wells case. What? Anyone other than Hawkins County Sheriff's Department, TBI, or FBI, and direct accompanying individuals such as the family PI. Last I looked, Tim Mullen, TBI didn't co-sign any individuals. Hawkins County didn't co-sign any individuals. Are you fucking kidding me? Is this dude for real?
I think he thinks he's for real.
Oh, look at
No,
Shell's
he
comment.
loves this. He loves this shit. I mean, why is he even putting out videos? Okay, sorry. Let's keep going. Sorry. Okay. Whew. All right. YouTube, Facebook, or social media individuals are not representatives of the Summer Wells case and are not spokesperson for the case in any form. What was Benny Key's title? As with all forms of professional media, the purpose is to report what is happening. It is not social media that solves cases. It is professional law enforcement. Social media is not law enforcement, and regardless of past experiences or employments, has been dismissed by the TBI. What does that mean? So he's saying basically, Chris M., you're full of shit. You're not even credible because but you know what? I hate to say it. That's what the TBI said. The TBI said, please do not give us any tips from YouTube. She didn't say, oh, but Chris M's videos are okay to give us tips from. She said any. Don't you think if those videos of his were helpful, they wouldn't say that? Thoughts?
I mean, I don't know. I don't understand this case at all. I can't even.
I mean, do you think if Chris M was legit working with the TBI and they knew he was putting out YouTube videos, but then they're going to talk out of both sides of their mouth and say, hey, don't give us any tips from YouTube?
Yeah, don't
Doesn't-
trust
Definitely
him.
not working
I
with
mean,
the
that's
TBI.
Judy Ron as well. He covered the case as well. I mean, so they don't believe they don't take from anybody.
They said they don't want any tips from YouTube. None.
Mm-mm.
Don't bother us with tips from YouTube.
And Chris claimed to be like working
Talking
with
to
the
them.
organization.
Yeah, of course he did. He said he talked to them.
Yeah, he did
Well, if
say
he
He
was-
got briefed by them.
If he was talking to them, they'd have told him to stop.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I think we got to take a lot of things in perspective with the Summer
But I
Wells case.
think a lot of them brought us into seeing their home and stuff that we wouldn't have seen.
But should we have seen that?
Yeah.
That's the question. Did it help Summer?
No.
She's still gone.
Yeah.
They don't
But
want
it
tips from those videos.
probably help the boys.
I think the boys would have been taken away regardless if they were.
Yeah, they would have been
YouTube didn't do
investigated.
anything. And from what we're hearing from the TBI, YouTube has muddied the waters for them.
Yeah. I can't watch anything that Summer Wells anymore. It's so out of control. Like I just scroll right by.
I just think I trust the TBI.
Circus.
When the TBI says to me,
Mm-hmm.
we don't want anything from YouTube.
Yeah.
I don't think they're singling out any creators as being legitimate.
Yeah.
Nope.
And
So is there Tim Mullins too?
absolutely it is. So he puts out this release on his YouTube.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And he makes a Facebook page to answer questions that he never answered any of the questions to.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's continue. So he says, as with all forms of professional media, the purpose is to report. It is, okay, da-da-da-da-da. Simply put, no one on social media, as often commented, has, quote, done so much for this case. So it bothers him to hear YouTubers say, oh, they've done so much for Summer. Now,
But I can say about YouTubers though, Jay, I don't think her face would have been in the light if it wasn't for social media, because I feel like Summer Wells though case took over so much that it kind of left little monkey.
I think that the TBI knows way more than we do. And I think they know that social media is not going to solve this case because it was someone that was close to her.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And there's been way too much speculation and stuff as well that Summer got forgotten in it all.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, let's face it. YouTube is a bunch of grifters.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It has a lot of, and we all get bad raps because of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. He doesn't have any updates on Rose either. I guarantee you in that one. I'm just calling it like I see it. I mean, I have to go off of what the TBI says. Court TV does not trump the TBI.
Mm-mm.
Court TV hosts Nancy Grace too. So
Yeah.
I don't know. You got to consider the sources. And it just really bothered me when I heard the TBI say that. And I had to really think about that, you know, because I've been guilty of watching those videos and speculating and, you know, thinking that there's this or that or the other. And I think we do get wrapped up in thinking that we are going to find something or we are going to see something. I don't know. So, anyways.
Keep reading, 'cause the bottom sentence just like blows my mind after reading what this says.
Okay, so it says, simply put, no one on social media often commented has done so much for this case, but instead may have caused major impact on the investigation and not in a good way. And those are quotes from, I don't know who. He doesn't really say. He just puts quotes around random words. Anyone keeping Summer Moon Utah Wells' image and name out to the public is very much appreciated, but anyone treading into law enforcement's perimeters are what the TBI rejects as helpful. This includes any other self-created side angle case. Huh? What does that mean?
Speculation.
Is that what that means?
Mm-hmm.
Any other self-created site. Okay. The professionals are clearly saying to YouTube and Facebook, social media to stand down. He said stand the fuck down. Stand down. Where am I?
Stand down, not encourage others.
Oh, yeah. Not encourage others to intervene with speculations, theories, or false information and let the staffed law enforcement do their job. So why is he lumping the family PIs in with law enforcement? Because as far as we know, they haven't said. Thanks, Danny B. They haven't said that they're working with any individuals. As a matter of fact, they said they aren't. Remember, they had the divers. Remember, Nita Diver did interviews on YouTube, and all these fucking hokey ass people that you don't even ever hear of again, right? They do all these interviews and shit. And then you have the TBI saying, we ain't working with anybody outside of law enforcement. And then you're like, wait a minute. So why am I listening to this interview? Why am I paying attention to this? Because if they are out there searching, they're going against law enforcement's wishes, and that's a problem. Hello?
I'm here.
Oh my God, I thought everybody fell asleep. I'm like, am I talking to myself?
Oh no, I was listening.
No, I mean, feel free, interrupt me. I mean,
no, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
The last statement, it blows my mind. After all of that.
Let me see. I haven't even read this yet. So, once again, thank you to anyone using social media responsibly. So I guess it's up to his discretion what's responsible or not. By only keeping Summer Moon Utah Wells' image and name out to the public.
So saying don't get involved, YouTube, but thank you for keeping her name in the public.
No, he's saying if you're doing it responsibly. So apparently that's up for, anybody's interpretation. Benny Keys could think he's responsible.
Yeah.
Anybody could say they're responsible. I mean, what kind of bullshit is this? This guy's a piece of work. So he then quotes Leslie where she says, moving forward, we ask the public not, it's all in caps, to submit tips as a result of a video they viewed on YouTube or a theory they've seen posted on Facebook. And the only one that's gotten us in that Wells house was Chris Elm. I mean, I'm just saying it like it is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So then what does he have here? The Amber? The what?
And their interviews in the beginning.
Yeah, I think he swooped in there before everybody else and could muddy the waters with the Wells.
Who?
Chris Ham.
Oh, yeah.
And then after him, it was just drama after drama after drama, no matter what channel they were on.
It still is. Over a year later, it still is. It's disgusting.
It is.
Yeah. And I guess, what bothers me about that is, as ex-law enforcement, you would think that one would know better. And that's what really bothers me and kind of scares me, to be honest. Because we have a missing kid. No one knows where the fuck she is.
Mm-hmm.
And we have people who are ex-law enforcement, like, doing things that they probably know are teetering on, like, more being moral, right?
Yeah.
And that really scares me.
But I mean, like, on the same note, like, I get that the drama and the like, this bullshit fighting crap on there that they do is just disgusting. But there are some good YouTube tips. Like, they would probably never have found Gabby had those YouTubers not accidentally recorded where the van was. Like, they would not have found her. They wouldn't have.
Mm-hmm. And Gabby also wasn't the shitstorm that
because it went so quick. It went so quick.
Yeah.
But this is just like people are over killing it and just like not putting facts anymore, just drama.
You know what I see?
Drama.
I see people taking advantage of a very poor family
and
a very poor little girl who went missing because this family doesn't have the money to go after grifters.
Yeah.
They don't. They don't have the money to fight the grifting.
But
Which is why fucking Tim Mullen skeezed his way in there and said, I'll help you. He knew that family can't afford a lawyer that's going to stand up for them. He knew they were going to be crucified. That dude knew exactly what he was doing.
And still doing.
Yep. But I don't know how he's doing it when the man of the family's in the clinker.
And she gone.
Yeah, where is she?
Okay, so I just wanted to read this again. Why did you release information about a Toyota truck? This is a Q&A with TBI. An individual who travels through the area regularly as part of his job stated that he recalls seeing a 1998 to 2000 maroon or red Toyota Tacoma with a full bed ladder rack, blah, blah, blah. The individual stated that the truck might have been parked in the area of Beach Creek Road and Ben Hill Road in the late afternoon to early evening on either Monday, the 14th, or Tuesday, the 15th. And you know what's really interesting to me? God, man, this is weird. You guys I'm going to freak you out. Okay, you ready?
Yep.
All right. Yep. So I know I'm getting off topic here, but it's on the top of my mind, so I have to say it. So the other day we were talking about Donald Sherfy Jr. Donald Sherfy Sr. lives pretty much next door to the Wells with his girlfriend. Jr. and his other son and his brother Nick live together in Bluntville, on the same road that Megan Boswell lived on as well. Yep. And that her baby was found on. Okay. Now, Junior and Nick reside on Muddy Creek Road, probably with their mom or whatever. And Nick had a red truck. I think it was like a 2000 or something like that.
Tacoma.
Red Tacoma that was taken out of Tennessee registration and put in Kentucky on June 21st of 2021. Yep. Rewind 3 months earlier, Donald Sherfy Jr. gets busted by the National Exploited Children Organization for distributing porn of children.
Thousands of images.
Thousands and thousands of images.
And he's on bond.
Now, let's reread this, okay? Let's put this in perspective. Nick Sherfy had a red Toyota. Dad lives right by the Wells. Wouldn't that truck maybe go down there quite often, right? To go visit Dad?
Mm-hmm.
So it would make sense why someone, maybe a mailman, or somebody, couldn't remember maybe if they saw it on Monday or Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
An individual who travels through the area regularly as part of his job. Who goes through, and if you read this, if you got to think about it, Beach Creek Road and Ben Hill. Who goes through there as part of their daily job?
A mailman.
A mailman. Who else?
Yes, Amazon.
I don't even know if Amazon. I sent them an Amazon package. I don't even think the boys ever got it. I think it got lost.
Or someone that lives on that road going to work.
Somebody who knew that truck. So if that was Sherfy Senior's boys' truck, it would make sense that the neighbors would know that truck. They would be familiar with that truck. I don't know. So anyways, let's reread this and let's think about this fact and how they word it. Think about the fact that Nick may have the Toyota truck, but it doesn't mean he did anything. But Nick may be able to answer some questions, right? So an individual who travels through the area regularly as part of his job, it's a male, stated that he recalls possibly seeing a 98 to 2000 maroon or red Toyota Tacoma with a full blah, blah, blah. Individual stated the truck might have been parked in the area of Beach Creek Road and Ben Hill in the late afternoon to early evening. Early evening doesn't really cut it for a mailman, though.
My mailman over here is out till like 7 o'clock at night.
Well, I mean, I guess in a rural area like that, they could be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, mine's out late because they deliver for Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
They even deliver on Sundays, my mailman.
But it would be a very limited amount of people who would be there on a regular basis for work in that intersection. So, It says, in an effort to cover all bases and identify the driver, the TBI, in agreement with the Hawkins County Sheriffs and the FBI. So this is no fucking joke. The FBI okayed this. Released the vehicle description. Our hope was that the individual might have information that could help the investigation. Dude, that says a lot to me.
And they haven't come forward.
No, but this is like a call to Nick.
Yeah.
Like, dude, we know most likely who has this truck, but we want this person to come forward.
Why don't they just go talk to him, though?
Because I think they want him. I don't know, but I'm telling you, this.
She's been missing a year. Come on. Do your freaking job.
I think there's a bigger thing. I think it's going to be a whole whop.
I'm going to tell you why they're not going to go just talk to him. Because if it's a bigger thing, they're not going to say, hey, Nick Shurfy, we want to talk to you. Because they don't want people tipped off.
They want all the players.
Yep.
It's just so frustrating at this point. Like, I just want
because if someone knows that he got talked to, it's cover your ass mode at that point.
Yeah,
dude, the TBI has had a year. The FBI has had a year on this. I'm telling you, it's deep. I just have a feeling it's deep.
Trafficking, drugs. I think it's a lot of people and a lot of players.
I think that was a camera above Summerwell's bed in the basement. Convinced me of otherwise. And I firmly believe that Shurfy Jr. dude, they even said specifically the aggravated child P. Aggravated means they were in the act with an adult. They were, or with another child. They were in an act. It wasn't just pictures. It wasn't just something sus. It was the deal. They did the deal with these kids. Wherever he got those fucking images, I guarantee you they are not far from Rogersville or Kingsport.
Yeah, he had
because this motherfucker, Donald Shurfy Jr., he ain't leaving that area. Look at him. Look at him. He's not going out of that area. That motherfucker, I think those are local kids. And that's what I want to know. I want to know whose kids are on those in those images. Then he has a hearing. It's put off. Put off till this month.
3 times.
I'm telling you, I don't even care, because anyone that's going to transmit tens of thousands of images of children in sexual acts, you're a piece of shit. So maybe if I'm wrong about any involvement with the Wells kids, maybe I'm wrong, but would it be far-fetched?
Oh, hell no.
And that's
it pisses me off.
Little too close for comfort.
Way too close.
Yeah, I mean, you have all these parallels. You have the dad lives next door to the Wells. You have, the dad used to be in law enforcement too. Now he's a trucker. And then you have the brothers that live together. One gets busted for sending out tens of thousands of images of child pee, and no one in that house knew. No one in that house.
I call bullshit. Sorry to swear.
No, you don't have to be sorry. I've been dropping F-bombs all
the
night.
The funny thing is the same PIs covered the same cases, or they tried to cover Boswell.
Yeah, that's why I think all those people are irrelevant. I don't think any of those people are going to find Summer Wells. And if they do, I don't know. Eyeballs. Because, I'm just saying, man, I don't like it. I don't like
any part of it.
I don't like how that Donald Shurfy Sr. got out and started yelling at the bullhorners like he did. I don't like how, I don't like anything about it.
He even said, my son comes here to visit.
Sure he does.
And stays here.
And don't think for a second that Candace Wells wouldn't have taken some money in exchange for whatever footage is on that camera. I don't doubt it.
Disgusting.
keep your eye on that. Keep your eye on that situation. There's just way too many coincidentals. But I don't like the child P thing. And I don't know where Sherfy Jr. got these images and videos, because it wasn't just images, it was actual videos. And this guy will rot in hell. May Donald Sherfy Jr. rot in hell. He admitted it. They went to his house. The national and he got out on $1,000 bond.
That's what I'm saying.
Disgusting.
This is bigger. This is bigger. They wanted him to feel safe.
Yep.
They wanted him to feel comfortable.
And I think the delays in his courts is because they're building.
Yep. He might be helping at this point. I mean, he admitted it. What's he got to lose now? He could take a deal for helping, because something like that, of that magnitude, I would think tens. I mean, I think it was like over 10 counts of 1,000 each. 1,000 images each count, and it was like more than 10 counts. I would think at that point, this is a bigger thing. Where are you getting all of these videos? Whose kids are those? Are they local kids? Are they kids across the country? Where are these coming from? So they're not just going to arrest Don Sherfy Jr. and find 10, 20,000 videos of kids in child P. They're going to be like, where the fuck did he get this from? And who else is fucking, sending it off? Who is he? Where's his circle? And that's why I think we have to lay off the fucking YouTube shit and lay off the TBI that think they're not fucking, doing their job, because I think that they seriously stepped into something. I think Summerwell's going missing just opened up a can of worms. And I think that all those neighbors were freaking out, because I think they're all fucking criminals. They either sell drugs, they do drugs, they molest. I mean, there's a whole lot of bad in that area for people to, get scared because someone didn't keep track of their kid and an accident happened. So the Wells probably had a fucking target on their back because of that. They don't want law enforcement around their neighborhoods. So here these dumbasses can't keep an eye on their kid, and now everybody's fucking up in arms. Sorry, I'll get off my soapbox. Damn it, Summer Wells deserves better, man. It pisses me off. Okay.
Can I address a comment in chat?
Absolutely.
Mike Sanner, he asked if they identified any of the kids, and if so, are any of them missing? I'm sure they have, but they're not going to tell us they are minors. So they're going to keep that under wraps and tight-lipped.
Yeah,
but
we'll
I'm
never
sure
know.
They have.
We'll never know. But look at this. This is also posted by Tim.
This man again.
However, this is a quote from Leslie Earhart. Okay, I always think I'm saying what's the Amelia Earhart. Yeah. However, this is what she said. However, we are also aware that there are some people using this case for their own personal gain by spreading false information on social media posted as facts. Some go as far as to solicit donations. This has had a major impact on the investigation, and not in a good way. Moving forward, we ask the public, look at it in bold, not to submit tips as a result of a video they viewed on YouTube or a theory they've seen posted on Facebook. And this is literally a year after Summer went missing. June 15th, 2022. They're saying, stop. Why are people not stopping?
Money, Jay.
They've got their own reasons, and it's nothing to do with Summer.
Nefarious reasons.
I hate it. It makes me sick because this is a little kid. I mean, God, man, take advantage of an adult case. I mean, if you're going to take advantage of a case, do it with someone who's a kid. Yeah. As a mother, I can't either, Brandy. I can't either. Poor little Summer Wells. So anyway, so let's get back to the case talk, right? Because God knows then. Now let's take it a step further. God knows what's going on with Donald in the clink. Right?
When is he supposed to get out? I haven't even checked on
Oh my
that.
God, did Maligator bounce?
Yeah, I don't know where she went.
Is she mad at me?
No.
No.
Oh my God, are you mad at me? Wait, hold on. Let me come over here and see you guys here. Oops. Never mind. Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Anyways, what was I saying? Maligator
Donald.
threw me off. Oh yeah. So with that being said, if we think that there was possibly a camera in that basement and some nefarious things going on, what's going on with Donald in the clinker? You know? We don't know. I mean, Ronnie Lawson can come out and say he's not cooperating. He's not talking all day long. Because that might be part of the investigation, right? So if it is bigger, they want people to think Don ain't talking. Don's not cooperating. Don's being a prick. So is his wife and his mother-in-law. None of them will talk. They've all lawyered up. It's a ruse. I think it's a ruse. And I think you're going to find out real quick that Jose is not dead. I think you're going to find that out too. Eventually.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Bullshit. I call anything on this platform bullshit. Bullshit. Oh boy. We'll see. It'll all come out in the wash one day.
Yeah, it definitely will.
I really do feel like we're going to get some answers in this case. I really feel strongly about that. I think that it's close. I think that, just like we talked about Kaylee being close to home. They usually are.
Yeah, I think she is.
I think she is too. I don't think she's far. I don't think she was trafficked. I think there was something else going on.
Mm-hmm. I do too. You feel that way too, Potato?
Yes.
You feel like maybe her going missing, even if it was an accident, I think it opened up a lot of things, drugs and sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
A lot of other stuff going on that they wouldn't want out. So.
Yeah, they were trying to keep everything hush hush, protect the whole community.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that the Wells murdered her. I just don't.
They would have slipped up by now. I mean, come on. We've seen them drunk and high on lives, and
I just think if they murdered her, there would have been some evidence of that somewhere, and that they would have arrested them a long time ago. I don't think, like they wouldn't have been able to cover up a murder, but I think it definitely was an accident.
Yeah, I think it was an accident as well.
But she definitely deserves closure, Poor little girl. But anyways, that wraps up our Casey Anthony / Brian Laundrie /
bit of everything.
A bit of everything. But please join us tomorrow at 7 p.m. for our first episode of the Manson murders.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be great.
It's going to be so good.
Mm-hmm. So wait, another little tidbit. I'm sorry. Brandy just kind of made me think of something. So if we also think about too, this is what really disheartens me, is the search for Summer Wells. We've heard Ronnie Lawson say time and time again that there's private property that they haven't been able to search.
Yeah.
And it bothers me that Don Sherfy Sr. is their next door neighbor, and he's ex-law enforcement, so he would kind of know what his rights are, how far he can push the envelope when it comes to letting them on his property, and I don't like that.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't like that at all. I don't know. One can just hope that this all just that there's a resolution soon.
She needs to be found, Jay. That's all that matters.
She does. Poor baby.
Yep.
And, I really don't doubt that Robin Lane really cared for that baby girl and really had her hands tied, to be honest. I don't know. Makes me sad. But anyways, Manson tomorrow. We're going to hear all about Manson's life. That's going to be a doozy.
It certainly is.
It'll be fun.
Yeah. You know what? I'm just glad to be, Sunday Night Live with you guys.
Yeah, I know. I love the Sunday night.
Me too.
Me too.
Well, Maligator is going to have to suck it up tomorrow and brace herself for the next Sunday Night Live. So thanks, Mally, for coming on. If you guys have any thoughts on anything that I've said tonight, please feel free to drop me a line. I really love the feedback. I really do. But anyways, thanks, Potato. Thanks, Heather.
Thank you.
My beautiful.
Thank you.
My lovelies.
Aww.
And we're going to dance it out. Potato, we're going to get you an internet booster so that you can put it out in your studio.
I have one, though.
Oh, are you
I don't know why. I don't know. Yeah.
Oh,
I don't
maybe
know why
you need a new one. Maybe the one from AOL circa 1998 isn't working anymore.
I think
still putting the disc in.
Oh, yeah. She's using dial-up. I forgot.
I think my Wi-Fi was dodgy from the beginning anyway, because it wasn't working when I was back in the house either. So it's been all right for the last hour and a half.
When it does that?
Yeah, it is slow sometimes.
It's just iffy like that. It's on Boris time. It's like
I live in the middle of nowhere, so it happens.
Well, you know what? I might be coming to join you in the middle of the nowhere sometime if I have to live off grid. I'm coming to England. Look out.
Wait until they get a government back, Jay.
Oh, England.
Yeah, maybe we're more stable.
I don't know. I don't know how stable anything is going to be. Maybe they'll put the royals in control.
Oh, yikes. Hopefully not.
I was listening to that. Oh, never mind. I won't even get into that. All right, guys. Creepy.
Are you ready for this?
Okay, because I could just chat all night. So anyways, we get to chat again tomorrow. So dance it out, guys. Good night. Stay safe. Happy Saturday. Still got lots of hours left if you're heading out. I remember heading out at this time when I was younger. This was like
what time is it?
10. We'd be leaving the house to go out. Now I'm like, give me my blanket and
bedtime,
my remote. All right, guys. See you later.
Good night.
Good night.
About you and your problems, I don't give a damn. You talk way too much, I have heard enough. About you and your problems, I don't give a damn.